Allons-y,
Allons-y indeed.
mes amis.
I don't know what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
That's because we're speaking French. You're the most hated language in the Jason Murphy universe.
The League
this
of
is true.
Extremely Ordinary Monsieurs. Welcome to the League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen, the LEOG, and we're here for another week of mayhem. And this week I am stressing the word gentlemen because we have kicked the ladies to the curb. It's all us guys. Right, guys?
Yep, smells like a jockstrap in here again.
You didn't mean literally kick them.
Well,
I think Allison was giving me, I'm going to stab you. That was what her eyes were saying.
that's probably why that was.
Okay.
I mean, when I kick people to the curb, I like to take it a little literally, too. It makes it more fun.
Oh, I thought you said curb them. I have some bad news.
Yeah.
No, when they're dead, they're hookers.
Well, now that we got rid of them, we can actually get to the hardcore comic book discussions everybody wants.
Right.
However,
We can finally talk about geeky stuff.
exactly. Instead of all this
Finally
accommodating-
start pounding those last few nails in on this coffin that we call the podcast of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen.
Now I'm your host, Leon, and to my left, is it left?
I'm
Where's
your
my
left.
other left? Yeah, my other left.
Jason.
Bo!
Grant.
And Cyrus.
Good old Cyrus, my co-pilot. How you doing over there, buddy?
Handling the caboose.
All right.
Wow, well,
handling Grant's caboose, not
Yeah, well,
mine.
Yeah, now that all the girls are gone, I think you should refrain from talking.
Yeah, after you curbed Kayla, I think your caboose is going to be handled once you do 5 to 10.
I'm just happy I don't have to wear pants anymore.
Oh, God.
In fact, I'm going to take those off now.
No!
No.
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 We have a strictly enforced pants rule.
I mean, granted, none of us have magnifying glasses, so we won't really be disturbed or anything.
Why would you be staring down there in the first place?
No, it's just like an extended Peter Griffin nude scene. It's all pretty much eclipsed by whatever else is distended.
I didn't say I was going to take my underoos off. Just my pants.
Well, that's true. You haven't done that in a month, so
I
why should
see
you
you
start now?
I see you like Aquaman more than you've been letting on.
Hey, they were on sale.
As everybody's been bugging us, we finally have come to the long-awaited and much asked for guilty pleasure episode, and I can't wait to really get into
Whoa,
this.
wait.
Horrible rotten
What?
bastard.
Whoa.
What?
No,
Wait a second. I have to do a little work on Leon for a second. Hold on. You were saying?
Is
wow.
that a dildo?
It's a sonic dildo.
All right.
It has been used as such.
Oh, God.
Now, for weeks I've been saying, hey, you guys want to do a Doctor Who episode? Especially Kristen. She's been wanting to do this. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Let's get it done. You guys ready? You guys ready? Everybody ready? Say yeah.
Yeah!
Say ready. Ready? Say yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah.
And then
It's
nobody
not
was
as-
ever ready.
It's not as effective when you've pared the cast
Wait,
down.
I thought it was a Dr. Feelgood episode, and this was going to be our Motley Crue themed podcast.
Well, I just like how I kept saying, like, whenever you guys are ready, and I hope you're ready soon. And then people say, like, what's taking so long? And Bo says, it's Leon's fault. He won't let us do it.
Exactly.
You weren't done watching the episodes. Be honest.
I finished, and when I finished, I was like, hey, I'm all ready. Let's do that.
I finished like a week ago.
No,
Right.
we're going to do guilty pleasures and pleasures of being guilty, and that is what shall be done.
So we put it off.
And so when
Put
I
it
saw
off,
that bus
al-
coming,
Allow Bo to finish. And so now we can do this episode and make him and Kristen happy, and she's not here.
See, I had all prepared for the porn episode we've been talking about. So, I mean, I got
Wow.
the stack.
You know what, dude? I'm able to stop in midstream and do that.
Okay, because I didn't want to tell all the girls to go home.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I
Please.
want to do, is sit around talking about porno with you guys. That's
okay,
what I want to do.
I'll tell Jesse James to go home.
Jesse James.
What's that guy
Jesse
doing
James?
I don't know.
The
I
porn
hope
star?
when he's finished, they bleach wherever he's been.
No. Enough teasing the audience. We will do the Doctor Who episode. This is that one.
Okay, but not yet.
But not yet.
Not yet.
Are you kidding? It's me. We don't never just jump right into things.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means.
New comic book day. And Rex Manning Day. But anyway.
I know.
Is it Rex Manning Day?
It's Rex
It's
Manning
Rex
Day.
Manning Day.
What does that mean?
Every Wednesday
Dude.
is Rex Manning Day.
Magnus Robot Fighter?
Yeah,
No.
I've heard
No?
of it.
Yeah.
Not that.
Empire Records.
What?
It's a kind of a quintessential 90s movie. Never mind.
You
Moving
caught
on.
you caught him off guard because you were talking about comics, so he was like he figured it was a comic. You know
Yeah,
what?
Let's talk about
The
comics.
quintessential '90s thing, right over Leon's head.
Yes,
Pretty
Hey,
much.
Maybe instead of talking about comics that no one reads, we should talk
Nah,
about
I
comics
slept
that
through the 90s
lots
like
of people are
Lestat.
reading.
Okay, Well, okay, bring up comics.
What's first?
Gee,
we got to
what-
start off with
what-
news.
What
Hey,
what has
first.
happened this week?
We got no girls here for now. I'm sure they're gonna bust down the doors later, but for right now, we got no girls. We can talk about comics, which is what our audience wants and what I want for a
Yes.
change.
I'm going to
and
say it.
The biggest news of this week, of today, Wednesday, as we record this.
The black elephant in the room.
Yes,
as it were.
and not me this time. It is the final issue.
Oh, you're not that fat.
Oh God.
Thank you, Cyrus.
Or
Thank
that
you,
black.
thank you, the white elephant in the room.
The final issue of Blackest Night came out today.
Yes.
Who's read it?
I
I,
read it.
I have. I specifically.
I haven't, but go ahead. Whatever.
Made precautions to do so.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
Hell,
Spoilers.
I guess some of us care a little bit more about
Spoilers
the podcast than others.
lie herein.
Yes.
From this point on.
Here
Right?
there be spoilers.
Well, now this isn't the Blackest Night show because
Oh.
we're gonna have to do a wrap up,
Okay.
a full on wrap up.
But surely we're going to talk about
But we
this
have to talk about it.
issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this individual issue then.
Yes.
Okay. The final issue.
it
yes.
was like a great big Skittles commercial.
Yes.
Well, that's
It
true.
was awesome.
With all
No.
the colors.
What?
Now, see,
It was
this-
like a giant Full House episode.
It was. They killed Necron, and his final words were "Taste the rainbow."
The United Colors against Necron.
And then the agencies of Benetton came out and gave everybody free clothes. It was awesome.
I do think it's funny because I was like, man, I got to go get this and read it before the show. And Jason tweets, it's kind of meh.
Really? So they didn't. He wasn't taken out by a gay pride parade.
Now, I read it right before coming over here, and I actually thought it was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I just thought it was, as I said in the tweet, full of Sound of Fury, signifying something. It was all lots of Jeff Johns, metaphysical, quasi-magical mumbo jumbo, like a 7th grade bad D&D game where the dungeon master's trying to do some crazy magic Grant Morrison stuff, and there was all of that, and then there was, as I said out on the patio. It was very much like this episode of The Simpsons where they're watching a movie and the King of England said, "Thank you, Zorro. I now declare you the King of England." And it was just like, yay, we're all happy and big parade and everything. And it was just, no, it didn't do it for me. I really thought it started going off the rails in issue 7. But, yeah, it was just all sorts of craziness going on. And, yeah.
I was still a true believer until this episode, but man, I thought it was so corny. Issue.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. This issue was just so cheesy
Had that lost
they're like,
nightmare again, huh, Grant?
yeah, it was like, together with all of you guys united, we believed in ourselves, and love and unity brought us together to defeat evil. Hooray! And then they all
Exactly.
jump up in the air, freeze frame, and it was like dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
The end.
Or I was imagining all the lanterns standing around looking at the sky laughing like an old episode of He-Man. How they always faded out into laughter.
Or any given television show in the 80s
Well, pretty much.
ends with Stephen J. Cannell presents and somebody going, "Sit, Ubu, sit."
So basically, the idea that some things worked out bother you guys.
They had to wax on about like the moral message about the whole thing. It just felt
Look,
cheesy to me.
Look, I'm sorry, but you don't have a huge epic like that and do some waxing towards the end. It's like, hey, we're finally wrapping this thing
Well,
up.
we could have drawn our own conclusions as we were through the rest of the series about like what it was that helped bring everyone together and conquer Necron, but they heavy-handedly just told us what it was, and
It was
thought
it was
corny.
like
See,
Games
I disagree
Sledgehammer.
completely. I think it was filled with much more action and kind of big reveals and great big giant guys fighting each other
Yeah.
and great big monsters fighting each other than it had to do with any like, so what does this all mean? Let us sit and discuss and wax philosophically about it. There was a little bit in this issue, and to be fair, I just read this like a couple hours ago. It's just sinking in, so I liked it. Unfortunately, it was almost a relief because it was like they finally got to the point that everybody knew was coming, which is like, okay, a bunch of DC characters that were dead are now
Yes.
now alive.
I mean, I felt all along the series is all about how do we bring back Aquaman and the Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
And that was so much of it. But what you guys are saying about the whole, them talking about the philosophy of it, and then we all work together. I swear, I only read it a couple hours ago, but that was like maybe like 2 halves of 2 pages where they did that. And like Bo said, most of it was action, a lot of fighting, running around.
I think I was just rolling my eyes with every single word that I had to go back and keep reading it.
Yes.
And reading it. So.
Grant, you're a kid of the 90s. You roll your eyes at everything. I mean, you're all about. See, there you go.
Whatever.
You're all about looking at things ironically and being cynical. After last week of bitching about how cynical DC Comics have gotten with killing people just to try to stay edgy, I didn't mind this at all. I was like, okay, finally we're getting back to what these comics are.
It does have a nice positive tone to it that I appreciated. It's moving away, and especially with the lead in to Brightest Day, which is going to follow up this series. It seems like there's going to be a lot more of a positive tone in these comics, which
I'm hoping
might
that
be interesting.
I do think there needs to be something in Brightest Day that kind of
That gives Arsenal his arm back?
well, yes.
No, well, you know what?
And-
There's a new issue of like Arsenal Reborn.
Yeah, so
it
they-
doesn't like he's getting his arm back.
Oh
anytime
no,
soon.
yeah, they've already decided to like, hey, let's make him a drug addict again.
I know!
Awesome, that's original.
So
I guess
that
he's got to shoot up in his good arm.
Yeah,
now.
we got that
Oh, man.
contrasted against. I'll take Brightest Day over that any day.
yeah.
Any Brightest Day.
Well, there's just that one part where Hal Jordan turns to the audience and says, "Well, I think this is the last time we'll see anyone die and be resurrected." And I was just like,
no, okay, I got to give it to you on that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
That was kind of like.
I haven't read it, obviously, but like Brightest Day sounds like it's just like the last 30 minutes of Return of the King. Why are we going to read a miniseries about that? You know,
No,
it's like, it's just all the characters jumping up and down on Hal Jordan's bed and hugging each other?
I'm sure it's all about setting up. Okay, this is the new universe, and this is the state of the universe now, and these are the new rules. I mean, to me, what probably bothers me the most about Brightest Day is that what's coming up is just so parallels the heroic age at Marvel.
Yep.
It's like so much of this. Okay, we were in the dark reign and the blackest night, and now we're coming to the heroic Brightest Day. It's like, wow, you guys really the same thing from both companies?
Are they
Nothing will
really
ever go wrong again.
The ending of Blackest Night really struck me like the ending of The Fifth Element. It's like, and the fifth element is love.
Yeah, but to be fair, the
Stop
Fifth
that,
Element was
because I hate
camp.
that ending too, and this was not that.
That was camp. This is different.
No.
I mean, you can
read it.
You can. I
Shut
read the
the
first
fuck up,
7
Cyrus.
issues.
You didn't read
I read
it.
the first
He's
7
got you there.
issues. Don't even start with me, young man.
Don't
it's not
even
the
start
same
with
thing
me.
at all.
Didn't read it, talking about things you don't know about. Starting to
I
sound
know
like Harris.
about.
Now, okay. Now, really, you guys
Don't question
Did
me.
no one else cheer at the point where the Orange Lantern bust the shit out of Lex Luthor in the back of the head? 'Cause
I found it amusing.
I laughed my ass off. I had to put the comic down and laugh about that.
Really?
No one, huh?
Want to go to a Gallagher concert?
Apparently, I'm incompetent and I should just go leave because I can't discuss something. I've only read 90% of it. I've got nothing to say.
Surely the Crickets thought it was
Okay.
interesting, didn't you, Crickets?
Remember how much shit Ebert got when he walked out of like the first 15 minutes and still reviewed the movie or something like that?
Yeah, but this is far from the first 15 minutes.
No!
It's 90% of it.
No, we're talking about issue 8. Did we not establish that when
Yeah,
we were
issue
coming in?
8.
We're talking about issue 8.
So if
Yeah.
you only read 7, percentage-wise...
So
that's-
suddenly 8 went total camp, is what
Well,
you're
to be
saying.
fair, like if you walked out of Empire Strikes Back after seeing 90% of it, you'd be like, oh, it seems like things are going to work out.
Luke's coming in. He's going to save the day.
I guess Luke's going to save the day. He's a Jedi now.
I bet he takes up piano after this.
I don't think I'd say that. It's not that big of a tonal change from when all the characters are being tortured by the
Yeah,
Empire.
You missed the joke that set it up, but the predictable punchline, I think.
Yeah.
You can guess what happened.
Yeah. I'm just not
For
going
the
to.
most part.
I'm blacking out my mind for Blackest Night Part 8.
Well, you'll
That
get your
will
chance to
not
read
be
it.
like The Fifth Element.
There's
I'll-
probably like
it
4
is.
copies here right now that you
I
can
don't
read
know.
before we're done.
It suffers from a lot of the thing that a lot of major crossover quote unquote events suffer from, which is, they have a lot of builds and big reveals, and then blah. There was so much build up. I mean, what can you really do to match up to the build up?
I did like
let's talk about Lost.
We've all got event.
Gatefold
Not yet.
poster thing.
We've all got event fatigue, though. I mean, let's
True.
admit that at least. We've got event fatigue.
True.
And it
I mean,
happens.
we got PTSD over
and it
all
happens
this.
in all sorts of things. Like it doesn't, it's like we're big Lost fans, as we'll talk about in a little while. But I'm sure I'm gonna reach the end and go, it was all right.
There's going to be tons of people. I mean, really.
No, that'll never happen.
Unless they can end the way The Shield or 6 Feet Under did, there's going to be a lot of people who are going like, I was expecting something else.
Well,
I
yeah,
have
because
menaced myself into believing this will be amazing. So
Awesome.
Whatever.
How could it possibly go wrong?
yeah.
So what's the next issue?
Russia's not that big of a country. Let's invade it.
Well, moving on to new comics.
you see, Paul Dini is writing a Zatanna book.
So
Yeah, Paul Dini
I think that's
is
awesome.
like has
Well,
the
see-
biggest hard on for like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
his hard on for Zatanna is so big he actually married a stage musician in real life.
I think it's really exciting because I love the
Oh, yeah.
DC Magic universe. I love the character Zatanna. I love Paul Dini.
I
and
hate
I
Zatanna.
can hardly wait for this.
the stuff he's
So-
writ for what about the stuff that he did for the animated universe? I
See,
mean, he
but
made
see,
her
okay,
really
That was
entertaining.
enjoyable.
Okay, here's my
yet
thing about
she
Paul
still says all of her shit backwards. I'm like, that's what you got?
Really?
She cast spells by saying them backwards?
Why does that bother
Really,
you?
she looks like that, and that's your bitch about her.
See,
She says
apparently you
stuff
haven't read enough
backwards.
to understand why that happens because it doesn't matter. It's
Yeah,
not like that's a secret to magic.
No, that's
It's
her
every
focus.
magician has a focus
Yeah.
thing, and that's hers. That's not like anybody could do that and you'd do magic.
Yeah,
It's
chill
not
out,
what the
yeah,
definition is.
from.
As long as she's dressed like that, I don't care if she pronounces her spells like abracadabra. She's fine.
Which brings us back to the porn episode.
Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah.
Nemesis.
Has
I
anybody
didn't
read
read
it
it,
yet?
but I was interested in what.
I've read this.
Okay,
and-
okay. So Nemesis. Set it up, Grant.
Well, Mark Millar, coming off of Kick-Ass, has decided to take the idea of Batman and turn it backwards with having. What if there was a rich billionaire genius like Batman, but instead he's the world's only supervillain,
Okay, I hate
and he
this
wears
already.
all white.
I'm done.
Um,
I was done with Mark Millar with the end of Kick-Ass. I mean,
Well-
to me, having to wait 2 years for the end and then get it, and it's that, it just made me stop and look at all the Millar
hold up.
books.
You haven't let me tell you how the book is. I mean, you're dismissing it before I can tell you that it's horrible.
Is it really? That's so sad.
I mean, I actually kind of liked the idea of the premise because I liked what he did with Kick-Ass.
What
and
is-
I thought he could have set it up, but
What is the character's motivation? Were his parents
He's
like
just-
saved in a dark alley by a policeman, and he really hated his folks?
he mentions he had a traumatizing childhood, but it didn't really go much into that.
Yeah,
or
life sucks.
he was
Get a
robbed
fucking
of his
helmet.
childhood, is what he said.
Wait, you mean
But-
Millar was lacking in character development? I don't believe
Yeah.
it.
Well, the dialogue is just so immature, and it's like he puts unnecessary expletives anywhere he can in the dialogue, and then the gore is just excessive.
Do any of the
and
characters
doesn't
say
help with the plot at all.
Do any of the characters say abracadabra?
Oh my God! Is there a new catchphrase?
I know, I
being
think it's
born?
gonna be
Hey, no more catchphrases. No more catchphrases
Oh, is
or
that
running jokes.
The Leon rule.
That
for
is
the
the
new
Leon
thing.
rule.
That's
Okay.
a suck rule.
Sorry.
We got ourselves
a running
another
joke never knows when to
Leon
stop running.
rule.
Leon, to you I say abracadabra.
See, were you trying to make him do it? Is that what you wanted? Because look what you got now.
I'm just wondering how many times I can fit it into this podcast.
How are we gonna
alone.
sell
Oh, you
T-shirts?
you should fit it in as often as you can. It's your last one.
It's gonna be like new fan art of Rosie McDonald from that like television movie she did as a retarded girl saying Rosie McDonald on the next Leon.
Gotta tell you, that's when I quit the league. And there will be bloodshed on my way out.
That's cool. We can replace you with Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Now, about that one last thing about the Nemesis, did they have on the? I saw an ad for it, and it looked like it was the actual cover that said "Makes Kick-Ass look like shit" right on
Yeah,
the.
it
That's
does.
awesome.
And
Makes my upcoming movie adaptation look like a big pile of excrement.
yeah, he just ripped on his previous work, which was huge. And
Dude, you're back
and
on
for something that
yourself.
wasn't that great, I mean, I guess he's all about the sales promotion techniques, but it just
Mark
didn't
Millar, that's
deliver.
his big thing, is all hyperbole, and I'm so great, and this is going to be huge.
This is going to be shocking.
But with a Scottish accent.
I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
say he is Scottish, so
Okay.
he was probably drunk the whole time.
Great. Yeah, I mean, he's able to put in the shock value, and it seemed like there was a time when he could have shock value in a lot of substance or things that like, wow, it's really smart. But as far as him like staying on time on a book or having a good ending. Like at that time when he had the 4 books going, the Old Man Logan and 1984 and
War
Kick-Ass,
Heroes.
1985. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Fantastic
and
Four.
Fantastic Four. The ending on 1984 was like, well, this is okay. The ending on all the other 3 books was awful.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's going to be bringing in the Punisher into the new Ultimates.
Sure, why
as
not?
a character as one of the new Ultimates. I'm
I
like,
mean, and his his
Really,
return.
the Punisher is a member of the alternate universe Avengers?
they haven't said yes, but it sure looks that
Yeah.
way from what he's doing.
His
From
return to the
from
Ultimates.
covers.
Yeah, okay, it's better than Jeff Loeb, but that's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, one more comic book I know, at least one more, want to talk about is
X-Men Second Coming. Yeah.
Now, I haven't read this.
It was good. Yeah. It was surprisingly good. I'm a
Yeah,
little,
they were sold out at the comic store. Of course, they under ordered.
Yeah.
Oh, probably on purpose.
Yeah. Well, it's the story of that was set up during that was a couple of months ago. I can't remember the name of the story exactly.
During that other
Messiah
big X-Men
Complex,
event that
I
you
believe?
didn't read.
Messiah Complex, yeah, where, as many of you know, when Scarlet Witch said no more mutants, it reduced the mutant population down to like 187 or something like that. And but then, strangely, months later, there was a mutant birth and of a girl in Alaska or something like that.
With 2 vaginas.
Yes, and that was her
Dude,
mutant
Sarah
ability.
Palin's a mutant?
Yes. And,
I'm just kidding. I knew Sarah Palin was a mutant.
Cable takes her into the future to protect her and raise her and everything, which sounds like a great idea.
It's worked out always.
that
Because
always goes
really,
well.
when you look at the entirety of the X-Men, who is more nurturing and loving of a father figure than Cable?
Right. Who has his own daddy issues after his dad gave him up to some futuristic chick in a portal on the moon. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, so
Oh
he
my
figures he's
God!
learning.
Will somebody please call Child Protective Services on Professor Xavier? Jesus
Fair,
Christ!
they've made a lot of mistakes in the past. They're the first to admit it, but they've learned from those now. I mean, who better to protect a child than these guys at this point?
yeah.
I'm sorry. All I can think about is a rat bit my sister Nell, and Whitey's on the moon. Her legs and arm begin to swell, and Whitey's on the moon.
So how old
Sorry.
is Cable at this point?
He's like ancient, and she aged, and she's back, and so. It's actually, here's where it gets good. Cyclops goes into full-on military badass mode and says, all right, we've got to protect her and get to her at all costs. And that's really what it is. And then there's the whole breakdown of the other X-Men, the other brighter, shinier X-Men like Nightcrawler, finding out about X-Force and Cyclops' Kill Squad. So that starts kind of breaking down.
So Cyclops put together a Black Ops team.
yeah.
And he's
Because that's what Scott would do.
well,
Wasn't he
hey,
part of X-Force or X Factor, whatever the other?
The funny thing
previous
is they'll
Black Ops
spawn
team
new
was.
X teams, but they just keep using the same names over and over.
Yeah, it's no one will guess this was us.
Yeah.
Here's a hint: don't put X in the name, and maybe they'll figure out that you're not.
Now you're facing Extreme. Wait, are you guys mutants? Damn it! How'd you guess?
No, we're snowboarders.
Well, now Jason,
It's like Power Pack.
Oh my
on
God,
snowboards.
you guys are all douchebags.
Jason, X-Force. I mean, I know they're the Black Ops team, but exactly what kind of missions were they sent to do?
They were supposed to be a proactive hit squad. Cyclops would basically point out, okay, this guy's getting to be trouble, go kill him. That kind of thing. I haven't read a lot of them, but it's
So what's
that
the
really is the essence of Professor X's message.
What's
Hey,
the-
well, that's part of the story.
As
actually,
much as
is,
Professor X has like faked his death and dicked them over,
Yeah.
it's
Turn-
about
turn
time
out.
to
That's
abandon those
Jason-
principles.
Jason, I'm curious about, because I haven't read the X-Men in forever. So what's the transfer point psychologically for Scott where he goes, okay, it is okay to start killing people?
it was. Listen, we're down to only 180 of us. That's like.
so it's desperate war.
It really is, and they say that. I mean, he's a guy making,
And they're not going to give us
hard-
casinos.
Yeah, he's a guy making hard decisions, and one of the X-Men died, just some supporting character, recently, and and
Big fucking deal, man. The X-Men have been dropping like flies since like 1982.
well, when
that's
there's
what they were
only
saying. That's what they were
when there are
saying.
only 180
Okay,
of
there,
them.
there we go. All right.
That's what they were saying. And then
Hey, that
Cyclops-
was the last straw.
Cyclops was like, yeah, and that's also like 1% of us. That's like 100 million humans dying.
No, I you know what? Under those circumstances, and if someone is actively trying a genocide the rest of the mutants, then I could totally see him saying, you know what, at this point you have to look at reality and go, yeah, this is war. And
It's a great branch off from what's been going on with the Utopia thing and Uncanny X-Men, and it's with them trying to build the society off the coast of San Francisco, and they've got like Namor has shepherded
So
his people.
he has decided to own the fact that he's a mutant now.
Yes, he finally, and it actually played off.
Oh
really
wow,
well.
it's just like my Uncle Bill when he decided to own his and moved to San Francisco.
It is funny that
never mind.
like the mutants have been a metaphor for gay for so long.
Wait,
and now
what?
they decided to just
What?
go ahead and move to San Francisco. They're like
Some of them, only the ones that can hide their mutant powers are metaphors for gay. The rest are metaphors for black.
Oh, that's true.
Just see the big like opening scene of the Namor miniseries, all dark in the spotlight on stage. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
And now Namor is assisting them with his superpower of being an extreme fucking pain in the ass.
And he totally is, and that's one of the lines in Second Coming is they're like, okay, we need Namor to stay here and guard the island.
Annoy everybody
Yeah.
a lot.
And
No one tells Namor what to do.
That's the thing.
Imperious Rex.
Yeah.
Okay,
Emma
you can
Frost
stop saying that after every sentence.
Emma Frost says, Scott, he's not going to like that shit. Tell him he's the strongest one we've got. We need him here to save all of us.
Can we just hire Ben Grimm to momentarily kick the crap out of him every 5 minutes?
Oh, that would be awesome.
If you say Avenging Sun one more fucking time, I'm going to deck your lights out.
It's cock goblin time. Oh, sorry.
I don't know about you guys, but like as a kid, I found Namor extremely annoying.
I
and
hated him.
Yeah.
But now I think he's awesome. Like he
Yeah.
just cracks me up.
Yeah, me too. He's like this boorish Larry David
I
character.
really do want. I'm just like, there's Zachary Quinto, and here's a green Speedo. Let's go, people.
Let's do
Come
this.
on, let's fucking do this.
I love
It will be so amusing.
the
I wanna
relationship
take
with
that
him and
out
Dr.
as-
Doom is awesome right now.
I want to take that little clip out of you saying that and have it as my ringtone because out of context, that is a fucked up comment right there.
Yeah, it is.
Here's Zachary Quinto in a green Speedo.
Technically, it's not that all out of context with what we've been saying.
In,
It's Namor.
in other news,
Yeah,
it's raining X-Men.
We will soon be
Hallelujah.
having Leog ringtones available at a black market website near you.
Once Greg writes a theme song.
And once we get a few more catchphrases.
Sure, yeah. People at work and suddenly werewolf, 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 werewolf. Oh, it's my mom calling.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
What about that Dazzler comic coming out, huh?
do you want to talk
Why
about
is
that?
a Dazzler comic speckled with blood? That does not make any sense.
Why does
She
Dazzler
she
look like
fights
Tia
Doctor
Tequila?
Doom. What is it? Is it like a 2-page issue?
No,
No,
it's just
here's
like,
some lights.
will you stop with the fucking edgy? It's Dazzler, for Christ's sake.
I've always-
Dazzler is not bloody.
I've
Even the
always wanted to
punk,
hear Dr. Doom go, bitch, please.
yeah, even the punk rock Dazzler from the Ultimate Universe is like, no, sorry, still retarded.
If
Oh, they
you
made a
want,
punk
if
rock
you
in the
want to
Ultimate
make it,
Universe?
Yeah.
if you want to make Dazzler interesting, fucking have her make a video with Lady Gaga, okay? I'll fucking watch that.
Well, I think they just made her Lady Gaga. I mean, that
Exactly.
seems to be the point here.
I'm done.
Trying to stay relevant. Keep on trucking.
Keep on going.
Now,
Yeah, you using keep on trucking, that's relevant.
keep on trucking is much more relevant than them trying to turn Dazzler into Lady Gaga.
Probably not though. Actually,
What's got more longevity?
I get your point.
Hey,
but yeah,
I
probably
said
not.
keep on trucking. You guys know what I'm talking. Not only do you know what I'm talking about, but the moment I said it, you imagine that Robert Crumb drawing with a guy with his legs
Yes.
extended out, right?
Yeah, but we know who Dazzler is too. So.
No, compared to Lady Gaga. So
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, Lady Gaga can go fuck herself, and she's probably physically capable of it. So, just saying.
Wow.
Penis.
Now we
And
go.
if she was singing a song while she was doing it, I would fucking watch that video.
I've got no appeal to me whatsoever.
Of course
Sorry.
you
Yes, because I'm lame. Is that it, Mo? Thank you for pointing that out. I'm so glad that your superior musical taste managed to enter the show.
No,
Thank
it's just because you're so straight.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I mean, I like to suck a cock as
What
much
kind
as
of
the next
universe
guy,
is this
but-
podcast taking place in? Cyrus
Man,
is so
we
straight.
are really gonna have to get girls back in here if it's gonna devolve into this.
Oh, what's going on?
I would like to see some boobies right now, but that's just.
Well, me too. But before we do that, I think it's time for a very special segment called "Allow Me to Retort."
Oh, good lord! What am I? How am I further
But this
alienating
is,
our
this,
audience?
This
at
is a
point?
very special episode because you brought something up in the comments that we couldn't talk about last week, which was the death of Dick Giordano,
Yes,
one of the greatest inkers of all
Yeah.
time, and
Yeah,
once the editor-in-chief of DC Comics.
Yeah.
And I just thought you might want to have a moment. to
I
speak on it.
would, and it's just like, look, everybody is well aware that Frank Miller was the guy that made Batman dark and gritty, but the people who saved Batman were Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, and Dick Giordano.
Pulled him out
I
of
mean,
camp.
It was, if you watch the Batman 1960s TV series, which I'm a big fan of, loved it.
Yeah.
But the comic book had been tepid for a long time, and it had been that silly. In the 50s, they couldn't be grim and dark. First of all, it wasn't part of the current zeitgeist, and second of all, they had the Comics Code Authority all over their ass.
Right.
In the 60s, things started letting up, but to a large part because of the success of the TV show in '66, they started going that, campy, silly route.
Well,
and
it was sort of that pop will eat itself, where Batman
Yeah.
was kind of silly, so the TV show was really silly.
Right.
So then the comic became even more
Even
silly
more
to
silly.
match the TV show.
Exactly, and after the TV series was canceled in '69, Julius
Schwartz.
Julius Schwartz, basically he looked at a couple of young kids in the office, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. And he was like, "Hey, go do this." And one of the guys who helped them out doing this was Dick Giordano, especially with his inking.
The Tracer?
Yeah, just
Stop it.
amazing.
Show some respect.
Amazing stuff. Show some respect. But not only that, Denny was, first of all, he was the editor at Charlton Comics when they brought in all the really great Steve Ditko characters. The Question, the Blue Beetle.
Yeah,
and
everyone who made
Captain
up the
Atom.
Watchmen.
Yeah, basically, all of the characters in the Watchmen are based on ideas that happened under Dick Giordano's watch. And even though that line did not succeed monetarily, it was very critically acclaimed, and that led to him being an editor at DC, and really like seeing some stuff in the '60s that changed DC from kind of being this kitschy campy very episodic, non-continuous universe into what we now know as the DC universe. And Dick Giordano was he was one of the midwives of that event, and he's just an amazing guy. He also the biggest thing he did was he really respected the artist, and before editors like Dick Giordano, artists were basically treated as people doing piecework in a factory, and he was one of the people that brought about the powers to be respecting artists as artists, and giving them a greater voice and giving them greater leeway to create and making comics into this really great thing instead of just this minute flashy piece of entertainment.
And how he managed to run DC Comics and do such amazing inking all the time is beyond me. But I mean, when it comes to Neil Adams' art, there's his two greatest inkers are Tom Palmer, who did all this stuff at Marvel, and Dick Giordano at DC. And you want to find the Dick Giordano stuff, look at your Green Lantern, Green Arrow series, and especially Batman: The Invention of Ra's al Ghul. It's all those really
You look
key
at
issues.
Batman Tales of the Demon, great place to catch that. Any of the Neil Adams compendiums. Batman in the 70s is
Yes.
a good place to find some of his stuff. But yeah, any of the stuff that happened in the 70s is out there, compiled here and there, and definitely check them out.
But Dick Giordano dead at the age of 77.
Yeah.
Rest
he
in peace.
had a good
Moment of
innings.
silence, please. Okay, that's a moment. Abracadabra! So now we move on to a section that everybody... Oh, wait, nobody likes this. But we're still doing it anyway.
We like it.
We like it. Yeah, this is our 12-ounce mouse where, hey, we got 7 episodes left. We're going to keep on doing it.
Wait, no one-
Jason, you sit. Don't you dare leave.
I'm like 5 behind.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
So he doesn't want it to be
Damn it.
spoiled.
Last
for
one I
him.
saw was The Lighthouse.
Yeah, give me a beer.
Oh. Yeah,
Get
okay.
out of here.
Go get Bo a beer.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about
Get him a
the
beer, eat it.
let's talk about the polar bear in the room.
Wait, people don't like this segment?
Oh God.
I love it.
live for.
It was horrible.
Well, hey.
I thought you were talking. No, this episode was Stinkfest. But
Yeah, let's talk
Wow,
about
really?
this episode. It
I
was
hate
the
it.
package, and it's hard to.
It smelled like someone's package.
Man, you got. I'm shocked to hear this. I mean,
I would say
it's not the Ricardo. I mean,
it's hard
the
to
Rich-
follow up Ab Eterno, which is
Yeah.
Richard's episode. And
Oh wait, you know what? We never announced what this segment was.
Oh yeah, this is.
Wait,
This-
we'll just
Lost with.
yeah. I'm adding the samples, so
Okay.
the sample will go
Well,
here.
yeah, I want to give you a chance to to add the sample in.
Yeah.
Grant on Lost, or is it Lost on Grant? Whatever.
Whatever.
Okay.
I call my segment Grant on Lost, but
You
you,
can
guys
call it
say
whatever you
Lost
want.
with Grant. So
Okay.
I do the editing. It's
Yeah.
lost now.
Okay.
It'll be what it is.
You burned up your 2 minutes. Go.
All right. Well, this episode is called The Package. It is a Sun and Jin episode. Following up Richard, it once again, it's that ebb and flow where they'll have a powerful episode and then they'll kind of tone it down in order to fill in the blanks. And this is just another one of those filler episodes. It's kind of disappointing because we could pretty much predict what was going to happen for the most part between Sin and oh boy.
Sun and
Jin
Jin.
And Jin.
Yeah, Sun and Jin in this episode because we saw where Jin ends up in Sundown, which was a Saeed episode.
Right.
But nonetheless, there were some surprises, like they aren't actually married, which means that there's only one Quan, which is Jin. So many people are speculating that Jin is in fact the one true Quan that Jacob put on the list.
Okay,
Sure.
So
And then-
they're not actually married in the other universe.
They're not married in the alternate timeline.
Yeah.
But then to give credence to that idea is the fact that Charles Woodmore on the island kidnaps Jin in particular and brings him over. And there's a really emotional moment where he shows Jin the pictures of his daughter Ji Yeon, and it was one of the great moments of any episode, I think, when he's looking at his pictures of his daughter who he hasn't seen in 3 years.
He's never seen.
Yeah, he's never seen.
Didn't even know she existed.
And I love that scene. And then there was another scene where we have Jack near the end of the episode. Jack is becoming sort of a preachy guy who everyone's like, all right, enough of you suddenly just believing in destiny, Jack.
I
chill
think
out.
he's becoming kindly old Dr. Shepard.
And Son was
Hey,
getting
son,
sick
let's
of it.
go have a
Jack's
have
had
a
enough
couple
stuff
of
happen to
persimmons and sit
him
on the
now
beach.
for him to
Yeah.
kind of go soften his stance.
I kind of liked him in this one. He was
He-
one of the
he-
few
yeah,
things I
no,
liked
he
in
does.
this episode.
He was less of a dick than he's been in a long time.
He comes up to Sun, who inexplicably loses her ability to speak English, although she can
And,
understand
oh my
English.
God, that was weak.
It was
that was
it was
pretty weak.
pretty lame.
Sorry.
Although
That,
I have
that and the
I have a theory on this.
Okay.
getting-
Hey, this is all about your
the
theories.
getting
Yeah.
the getting shot and her I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, that's fucking overwrought.
Yeah. But Jack ends up trying to console her at the end, and he's like, do you believe me? And she says yes, she believes him and trusts him. And I was just like, yes, Jack is awesome. I love Jack's speech that he gave there at the end. What my theory is that we saw an instance where Sun in this episode, in her sideways flash, looks in this mirror and she's kind of captivated by it, and it's right at the same time as she hits her head against the tree in the alternate timeline. And we see this similarly with Jack looking at his appendix scar and noticing there's something strange. And I think that these things are running simultaneously in alternate timelines, and people they're starting to get glimpses that this isn't fully the reality. It's like these parallel worlds are
crashing together.
are all they're crashing together, but they're all predetermined destinies, and they're different versions. And Jacob is on the island as this nexus who tries to control that everything is predetermined. It's just always going to play out that these people's lives will intertwine,
Sure.
even if the circumstances are a little different. But
If they're
the
coming
smoke
together,
monster represents free will, and he's trying to escape. And with Jacob dead, these people are starting to get glimpses of parallel dimensions where they where on the island they can recognize that something is a little bit different.
Maybe it's
I'm not
more
sure.
than
It's
just glimpses.
a loose idea.
Maybe it's more than just glimpses. I mean, you said, okay, so how is that connected with Jin? Like Charles Whitmore only grabbing Jin, and my answer is maybe Charles Whitmore is from that other universe on some level. Maybe things are
Charles
crossing over.
Whitmore is a great big rice queen. Did you ever think about that?
A rice queen?
I'm not sure how that plays into
what the hell are you
this.
talking about?
He just wants to. We already did gay jokes earlier.
Yes.
Namor isn't in this episode.
Lord.
Well,
Charles Whitmore has little wings on his ankles.
the last big thing to mention is that the title of the episode did have a double meaning. The package not only referred to the all right, not only referred to Jin's package he was supposed to deliver.
He has to tell Bo to stop acting so immature.
Jacob's package.
Yeah, it not only refers to the death money Jin was delivering to Kimi to actually kill Jin.
See, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was. But it's also the mysterious locker on the Charles Whitmore submarine, which is holding the package, which is Desmond. And we see at the very end, Desmond is being carried out of the sub. And we have this funny moment where Saeed's like swimming in the water over up to Desmond and trying to hide from everyone else. And Desmond sees him. And it's just so bizarre because Saeed's emotionally dead, and so he just kind of blankly stares all like wet at him. And
to be fair, Desmond's really fucked up.
yeah, he's all drugged out of his mind, so they're just both
so
kinda
he
staring
could
at each
very
other.
well have been seeing that even if Saeed wasn't.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah, and as someone else mentioned on the site, it was just waiting for Saeed to just spit some water out of his mouth and in his face, like. It was just such a bizarre.
Or just say Eskimo.
Yeah, I feel like Saeed's turning into Abed on Community at this point.
He's
Yeah, because he's
autistic
suddenly
or
also deadpan all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for when he's really funny and he kills someone brutally. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's
And
really
then-
funny. They should bring Mike back on the show so at the end credits of each one, him and Saeed could torture someone.
So next week's episode looks like it's going to be a Desmond episode finally, and
Yeah,
this
it
will
is.
justify why
I'm
Henry
sorry,
Ian
Cyrus.
Cusick has been main cast
I know how
member.
much your girlfriend goes cuckoo puffs over
Oh,
Desmond.
yeah, she's leaving me for Desmond. More like, wow, that was a good episode. Let's go into the bedroom. What do you have to... I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Henry Ian Cusick's not going to show up at the door. So, I hear your girlfriend wants to have sex with me.
But if he does, you know your shit's over.
If I do at that point, it's just like, all right, what are you going to do, man?
You're like, all right, can I at least watch?
And set up the camera.
No, brother.
Honestly, that was the only thing I really liked about this episode. Like where I went, oh, that's pretty cool. Was that, and even that was a given. It was like we know Desmond was coming
Yeah.
back at
Yeah.
some point.
It wasn't a big
so it was
surprise,
like it
but-
wasn't a surprise at all.
I
kinda
still
hoped
like
for
the
something
Sun and
better.
Jin stuff. I mean, especially when we get to see Sun and her Brock.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
But there was
the
like-
camera was right in there.
But
Yeah,
as,
it was like
as-
nuzzling right up in her bosom.
as far as things that make up a good Lost episode go, I didn't think there really was very many of them
No.
this time. It was especially weak, like once again compared to last week's. But
It also it like brought back one of my single worst experiences of watching all of the episodes like back to back in a short period of time, which was any episode that focused on Jen and Sun. I had to sit there. I couldn't do anything else around my apartment
True.
because it was
You
all
gotta
fucking
read.
subtitles, and I was in a hurry. Like I literally had like an hour before I had to get here to when I was like, oh shit, I haven't watched Lost. So I went ahead and watched that, and I was like, oh god, it's a Jen and Sun episode, and it's like for like all of the season they've been speaking English, and oh thank God I don't have to deal with that. And then it's like, oh, I have forgotten how to speak English.
No wonder you're so angry. I was wondering why you hated it so
yeah,
much.
me too.
Because you hate
that explains
reading.
it.
I didn't hate it. I just thought it was boring because it was like, wow, we
Oh,
already
yeah,
know
no.
everything that happens in this episode because we saw it in the Saeed episode. It's like,
I
okay.
get it. You're in love. Your dad's a gangster. Big fucking.
And
So
you're
that's
drinking
a-
champagne while you know you're pregnant. What's up with that?
Yeah, I know, right?
whore.
What a bitch. Fuck that episode.
Screw you guys. I like that episode.
So maybe
whatever.
now,
But
now that
to
she's
me-
shot in the
to
belly.
me, the Sawyer episode just set the bar so low that I like anything better than that one.
Yeah.
oh,
that was-
really?
this-
Kate's episode was much worse than
No,
Sawyer.
I disagree.
No, I disagree.
I think the order of worst ones this season is this one, Sun and Jin, then Sawyer, then Kate.
The Sawyer one just left me going like, so what?
like
I felt the
Sawyer
same
one with
way,
him as a cop.
but I
It was
kept
cool.
laughing at the cop story thing. I was like, man, I swear, and it wasn't just us joking about that. If you look on the internet, there's like every site that talks about Lost was like, we want to see the spinoff
yeah.
with Miles
Yeah.
and Sawyer.
Well, hell, I mean, so far with all these other parallel storylines, they're setting up a bunch of spin-offs,
Yeah.
all about like Jack who has a son who's a prodigy.
And Kate is the saucy waitress at a small town diner where John Locke is the head chef.
Yeah, we got a Welcome Back Kotter sitcom with Locke and Ben Linus.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to see that.
See?
Yeah,
That's probably how this is all gonna space out. It's like, it's gonna be like, Alice and Barney Miller and One Day at a Time. And basically, everybody's
Head of
gonna
the
end up
class.
being in some kind of sitcom hell from the 70s.
Hey guys, didn't you love seeing Mikhail pop up and you just knew somehow his eye was gonna get punctured or shot out or whatever, and sure enough it came through, and I was like, yeah.
That guy does make for a good punching bag.
Man, he looks so healthy off the island. He's in much better shape than on the island. He must have died so many times on the island.
Well, that's what happens. He's like Wolverine. Like every time he
Yeah.
regenerates,
It's like,
he
fuck.
grows a little bit younger.
just that every parallel universe, like, it's a dime.
Dude, you're gonna die. I know.
I know. Believe me, I get that.
Yeah. He walks into the palm reader. He's like, you don't have to waste your time, honey. I know what's gonna happen.
So Damon Lindelof tweeted, I know you guys are on tweets, but he tweeted that next week the conversation will change, and so next week's episode should be a big one. I'm guessing like they're gonna.
Which conversation is gonna change?
I'm thinking it's gonna be about the side flashes. I think he's gonna have a big reveal about an explanation for him.
You know what else he tweeted, Grant? Your mom. He tweeted your mom.
He
Over
tweeted
and
her
over
long
again.
and deep.
No.
He did.
Don't
Seriously,
back
you
him up
guys?
on that joke.
Wait, what is tweeting again?
Just let him flounder on that. No, it's horrible.
I was trying to get his back. I don't know. Oh, well.
You gonna let him take you
I
down?
stand
with
by
it?
my
I know,
joke.
I know.
He did not tweet my mom.
Then to be
He
fair,
totally
he's
tweeted
never
mom,
once
dude.
gotten my back when I was in that position.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Oh, don't act like you've never gotten a reach around, baby.
Well, yeah, but not during a Leog.
Well, Grant, thank you for that. And
no problem.
I hope it's not painful for you because you still got 6 more to go.
7
7?
more hours. Well,
Yeah, we
7
have-
more episodes, 8 more hours.
Yeah.
No, you got 6 because when we get to the last one, it's going to be all of us. What, you thought you were going to get to close it out? Come on, man.
Well, there's 7 more episodes.
Jesus,
Okay,
this
yeah.
guy over here. You
I swear to God.
Give him enough rope, he try to be a cowboy. All right, well,
Oh, I've never
That
heard
was beautiful.
Was that from the
yeah,
1940s?
it's one of Eddie Murphy's. I'd love to take credit for it, but that's his. Well, guys, thanks for showing up, and now I guess we can just close out the show. Whoa, wait a minute.
We have something else to talk about that
We do.
you don't want any part of.
Am I not ready for this?
I don't think you're ready.
Are we
for
getting
this.
to all this
You
British
are
sci-fi?
not ready for this, human.
All right,
Exterminate.
so we're going to take a quick break, but coming back will be the main event, the Doctor Who special with a special guest, a special British-ass guest.
Yes.
It's what all 6 of you or so out there have been waiting for.
Yes, but those 6 are very vocal. They've been blowing up the board for it.
They are excited, and honestly, it just makes me sad that there aren't more of you. Because
And-
God damn, Doctor Who rules.
And Cyrus, I'm counting on you to convert the unconverted.
I'll do what I can.
Or at least give them, I don't know.
DC, you're
circumcise them.
going to AC, whether you like it or not.
Send them candy.
All
Here
right.
you go. Now watch Doctor Who.
Whew, what a break. All right, now the Leog's back, and we're down to the main event that you all have been bugging me about, getting on my ass for. But fine, you get it now. Doctor Who. Everybody ready for Doctor Who? Can I hear it?
Doctor Who.
Hey!
Doctor Who. Doctor Who.
Hey!
See, you don't know.
Really?
But you're not a Doctor Who fan.
No, yeah, all I remember is dun 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 dun. Woo! Not that one?
Yeah, well, yeah,
I-
but that sounds like what it just sounds like that you did. So that's why we didn't do that.
We were singing Doctor in the TARDIS.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Which was like probably the only, I don't know, I'm probably not the only, but the most famous pop song ever.
There's a
about Doctor Who.
fabulous mashup
Yeah.
that you can hear if you go to my page. It just automatically starts playing. It's Green Day holiday. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying it's convenient if you want to like play it now. That'd be awesome. Or stick it in the break. But
I don't know what all this jibber jabber you guys are talking about. I remember a Doctor who looked like Harpo Marx and wore one of those scarves that Grant does all the time.
Well, you kind of remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the 60s, so.
Was it?
No, actually it was the 70s.
No,
That was the 70s.
Yeah, okay.
70s, yeah, okay.
But suffice it to say, you were fucked up.
I mean, to me, it always looked like a sci-fi show on Access TV. So I was a Star Trek man myself.
In many ways, it was at the
Yeah.
time because it was totally like
Because
state run.
it was filmed on the BBC in the 70s, and the BBC had a socialist nightmare of a budget. So.
Yeah, exactly. It was indeed very just state run. There
Which
were
is
no budgets,
fine
no
if you're Monty
commercials.
Python and you're just dressing people up in old women's dresses and,
Yeah.
occasionally throwing fish at each other. But if you're trying to make a series about an intergalactic time traveler, it's, well, not
To be
so
fair,
much.
they both had pepper pots.
They did both. have them.
Wait, you mean Iron Man's assistant?
No. See, this is why you.
The Dalek exploded!
Hey, this is my show. You can't tell me to leave. Nah, well, okay, I didn't watch it that much because I had this one friend who used to go on about it all the time, and I was
That
like,
was actually that was Cyrus.
Yeah, that was me.
I mean, there was that point when I was like, man, you keep talking about this show, and I'm like, whoa, this Leah chick, she's kind of hot. Okay, maybe I'll watch it a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't really my thing.
You mean Leela?
Leela, that's it.
The one in the where the
The little like
the
loincloth.
cave girl look?
Yeah.
Yes, she wore a little leather uniform, carried a knife,
Yeah.
Yeah, I dug her.
red hair.
But then with the return of the show, the Chris Eccleston episodes, I watched some of those. I dug them. I watched it right up until the end, and then it just fell off because I was watching other stuff. But apparently you guys know this stuff better than me.
We do. And maybe you'll get a chance to watch it again at some point. We can talk about it again.
Yeah, no, if Obama had listened to me and just put 2 more hours in every day, I could have watched it.
That would have been interesting to see how that worked.
He's like, hey, when I said change, I wasn't bullshitting.
He's going to really need some time in relative dimensions and space to make that work.
True. But, hey, man, I'm not going to gum up the works. I can bow to higher powers and people who know more than me. Meaning you, Cyrus.
And only in this particular
only
subject.
in this particular subject. So, my man, I'm going to hand the keys over to you and let you take it away. Oh, wait a minute. What do I see? What is this?
It's an 11th hour reprieve.
Okay, now, the whole reason we were doing this show in the first place was for Kristen. And then she decided she couldn't make it. And suddenly she walks through the door. Kristen, thank you. Welcome to the Leog. Before I jump off and let you guys handle it, got Kristen on the left here, and next to Kristen is
Kat on her own mic for once.
Bo stuck around because we can't get rid of him.
Indeed, I did, and in fact, I know quite a bit about Doctor Who.
Oh, really? Well, we have an actual Brit here, our good friend, Mr. Alan Porter, writer of several books about comics, and the writer of the Cars series for Boom Studios. Welcome, Alan. Thank you for coming back to the show.
Thank you. Just stole my line about being the token Brit and the only one who really knows anything about Doctor Who.
Oh! Challenge everyone in the room.
No, he's probably right.
It's like you can only drink real Guinness in Dublin, and you can only see real Doctor Who in London.
You do realise we're all born with at least one Doctor Who story. It's just part of our genetic code.
Plus, it's better there. We don't actually see the versions here. They're all watered down here.
Well, we invented Star Trek. F you.
All right, guys. Well, Cyrus, here, take it away, my man. Hey, don't fuck this up.
Oh, God.
All right.
I've never been in charge of an episode of Leon before. Okay, don't drink all my whiskey.
Too late.
Oh God, we're back to this again already.
Welcome to the Doctor Who episode, or the second half of Leog number 7, volume 4, which is the Doctor Who episode. The Doctor Who niche of Leog 7.
The Hoop-isode.
The Hoop-isode. And, okay, so, I want to say this at first. We're going to talk about a little introduction Doctor Who, but we're going to avoid spoilers at first, because there's a lot of people out there who haven't seen Doctor Who at all, thinking about watching it. So let's talk about the general stuff first,
Be
and then we'll get
ambiguous.
into spoiler territory with a warning first. Okay?
And when we say spoiler, we're only talking about the current series. You're.
I say we can spoil like the last 47 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Alan, real quick, let's you actually have worked on some Doctor Who related material. Is that correct?
Yeah, I pitched a Doctor Who novel way back when, and I just recently pitched a couple of Doctor Who audio adventures. So fingers crossed that they get picked up.
So then we'll have our inside line to the world of the Doctor.
Which doctors were you pitching for?
I've just
if you will.
just pitched 2 Fifth Doctor audio adventures.
Peter Davidson.
Peter Davidson.
Man after my own heart.
Is that your favorite?
It is because
Or he
that
is.
that was they when I really started getting into it, they had been airing some of the Tom Baker episodes on the I grew up in Austin, so the Austin public television did some of the Tom Baker stuff, but I really got hardcore into it in Peter Davidson's era, and he has thenceforth been my favorite Doctor. So.
Okay, and we'll get in more than the favorite Doctors
Yes,
a little
indeed.
bit further down the line, but let's just start off right here with a question that's just pretty much the generic starter question from Ironhide667, who says, "Okay, League, I have never seen the show. What is the core premise of it, and has this premise lasted the test of time?" Okay, that's... I think the fact that it's been on for
funny because
26 seasons...
31.
31 seasons pretty much unquestionably says that, yes, it has in fact lasted the test of time.
It was. I think barring like soap operas, it's one of the longest running television
It
series
holds the
in
Guinness
history.
World Record
Yes.
for the longest sci-fi.
Yes, it
47
does.
years. 31 seasons over 47 years.
And the basic premise is it started out as kind of I guess a more children's educational program, really.
Yep.
I mean, in the beginning, they had what they would call historicals episodes, where this doctor, an old kindly man played by Patrick... William Hartnell, sorry, was a space and time traveler in this... a time machine called the TARDIS, which was an acronym for Time and Relative Dimensions in Space. A device which was bigger on the inside than the outside, which is good because on the outside it looked like a London police box, which is not very big at all.
Which is for those of you who have no idea what the fuck a police box is.
Imagine a telephone
It's like a
booth.
telephone.
It's a
booth.
telephone
But it's
booth,
blue.
yeah.
Looks like a telephone booth. It was used by British policemen. They would actually stash wrongdoers in it, and this was before they had like a radio system in the cars, and they had telephones in there, so they could run to the corner and use the telephone booth to call the equivalent of the precinct house. And of course, now that they have modern communications, they went out of use like many years
And
ago.
for those of you who don't know what a phone booth is, I mean, I remember the first Superman
Superman used to
movie.
change
Well, the
it.
first Superman movie made
Exactly.
fun of the fact there were no more phone booths.
Google it. Just go Google
Yeah.
it. I don't
Okay.
know how to help you
Exactly. Look it up. I don't know what else to tell you from that. You're too young. How dare you be alive? Anyway, so he would travel through time, and originally with the help of his granddaughter, which is something that still to this day people are like, wait, granddaughter? Because Doctor's not known for having an awful lot of family, or at least not ones we've seen.
They've touched upon it before.
They've touched upon it, although supposedly now they're all dead.
Yes.
Yes.
But
Maybe.
anyway, with
Maybe.
maybe, yeah. As far as he knows, they're all dead. But he went around town with around the universe, around time and space with his granddaughter, helping people with various problems. He has a definite anarchistic, I would have to say, streak almost. I mean, libertarian, I guess, in the fact that he doesn't like taking orders from absolutely anyone. He doesn't like governments at all, and he will help people no matter what the situation. And in his mind, there is no such thing as a monster, really. It's just misunderstanding. He doesn't like to use guns.
Yeah, it's all done. He saves the world with a screwdriver. And that's actually one of the aspects of the show I like, that it was family friendly, so there's no gratuitous sex or violence. The writers actually have to think of a plot instead of being like, well, let's just shoot some shit,
Yeah.
which is what I love.
And they come up with pretty complex
Brilliant
storylines,
stuff.
even if sometimes they're just the goofiest things imaginable, where you have to take a step back and go, wait, it's Doctor Who. But, it's still great. It's still wildly creative.
Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest things for the whole history of the series is the fact it tackles things like politics, philosophy, Great plot points. Yeah, some of the special effects are wonky, but it's not about the special effects. It's about the plot and it's about the writing far more than it's ever been about the visuals.
It does play hob with history to a great extent, but it's still more educational than your average slice of TV. So.
And this is a show you can't really be a canon whore for. I mean, it's interesting to follow the canon, but if you're going to be one of those kind of people who's going to bitch about every last possible, why didn't they just do this? Or, well, wait, in episode number 36, you shouldn't be watching Doctor Who.
To an extent, it's one of those shows that kind of invented canon, because it came out at a time where TV was very episodic and not that concerned with continuity.
Right.
However, it was filmed in a very British method, which was instead of having one episode self-encapsulated, they do anywhere from 5 to 10 like half-hour episodes that would encapsulate a very large story.
And later 45 minutes.
Yes, exactly. And it, the current series actually goes more to the American form, which is they generally wrap everything up within an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll do a 2-episode crossover.
Sure.
But the original classic Who, you would have the Genesis of the Daleks, for example, goes for I think it's over 2 DVDs. It's like 10 episodes.
But if you talk to the writers on the show, they actually say there's no canon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But also,
there's a very loose canon in the broad sense of the tenets of, pardon the pun, the tenets of the show.
Loose canon tenets.
But there is.
You're so British, Alan.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'll try and fix that.
Yes, obtain that.
So British, he shits the Queen.
I'm terribly sorry.
But he's a time traveler, so canon.
Alan? Oh, sorry.
Yes, Alan too.
Yeah.
But
Alan is a time traveler.
They all time travel, just like all Asian people know martial arts.
exactly,
It's the same
all
thing.
British people time travel. But I think when you're dealing with time travel, you can be a little looser about canon because you're like, well, maybe he wouldn't fix something. You don't know.
I think this is the way that the story is developing, and of course with Torchwood, kind of a companion series, building up other people's stories. The Doctor has made statements like, well, I can only travel within my own time frame. I can't go back and meet myself. I can't go back and...
Although
He's done that over and over again.
But they're starting, I think, to try to solidify a little bit more because people are getting more attuned to that and are looking for these things. Like, hey, wait a minute, but you said ...
No, I think
I definitely think that's true, and I think that in a lot of ways, Doctor Who is very comparable to like Superman or Batman or the superheroes that have been around for a long time, and that they kind of have a fluid history.
Yeah.
You can't bring canon.
Things are getting
You can't
retconned.
be dogmatic about canon.
No. There are certain
Yeah.
things that you can't change, but there's only one or two things that the detail, like you said, the small stuff, they don't really care about.
And it hasn't gone wildly off of this would work, this wouldn't work. It hasn't. But there are those things that if you're going to look into it too deep, you'll be like, but wait, they said in this episode, you know what? Just don't worry about that.
Yeah, there have been things that they've discovered over the way. When Doctor Who first started out, he was this eccentric old crazy genius, and we eventually found out, through writers throwing things in here and there and over the years, that he was a member of a race,
the Gallifreyans,
a species called the Time Lords that are from a planet called Gallifrey. And they kind of overlook time and make sure that people don't play too much hob with the time-space continuum
Until they went crazy.
Until they went crazy. But the Doctor was kind of their one of their bastard children. He was like, I don't think that we should be so parsimonious with our powers. We should go out and help people and use time to help as many people as we can.
In fact,
as opposed to just standing aside like the Watcher.
In fact, he was a rogue agent for a while. He had stole his TARDIS.
That's one of the few things they established right in the very first episode. I mean, he actually says that he was on the run from his own people right in the very first episode back in 1963.
Although, and I'm not sure when, at one point they felt like he had paid his dues and they took him back on as sort of a rogue agent, if you will.
It was the last appearance of Patrick Troughton, the second Doctor. He had to help the Gallifreyans, and what they basically did was they played Hoblet. They erased some of his memory and put him back on Earth, and basically he could still use the TARDIS to some extent, but he was trapped on Earth, and that's when you got UNIT.
He was just like Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the United Nations Intelligence Task Force, which still plays a significant part in the Doctor Who universe today. He worked very closely with them, and yeah, that was how do we, it's a reinvention of the show. How do we make this more interesting? Oh, well, let's stick him on Earth.
How do we keep it in budget so we can afford
I was
it?
gonna say,
and that was the thing, because they were also switching to color, and they were like, well, how can we have this in color and still manage to do this?
I had also heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody else has heard something similar, that the viewer response was better when the episodes were Earth-based, that they felt it was more relevant, that it was a little bit less, I don't know how people rationalize this, but that they got higher ratings, actually.
Yeah, the core of Doctor Who, certainly when I was growing up, and I think still some of the best episodes, are when it takes something that's very ordinary, like shop window mannequins, or going down into the tubes, into the underground.
Something
railway,
accessible.
or stone angels, or gargoyles, and makes them incredibly frightening.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Which you can do with that when they try and particularly when they, in the Tom Baker or John era, when they try to do the outer space things and they do the model spaceships and you could see the strings, and that threw you straight out of the show to start with. But they only tended to use those for like 5 minutes to establish setting, and then everything else was done on
which is one of the nice things
running
about
down corridors.
One of the nice things about the new series is that they can actually do that kind of thing a lot more convincingly now.
To me, the new series seems like Eccleston is pretty much in Cardiff or London the whole time, and then when season 3 comes around, they start doing some phenomenal stuff, and you can see, wow, I think this is a bigger hit than they ever thought it would be. So they're like, hey, here's some more money for Doctor Who. So season 3, they go to all kinds of zany, wacky places because they can afford.
And also, BBC has a much different cast structure than they did in the 80s, 70s.
And it's a bit different part of the BBC too.
I mean, having just rewatched that, there are a lot of Alien Planet ones in those first 2 seasons, but it does get to be more of it later. And there's more arc stuff
I think one
too.
thing that they do really keep, though, is they make both Eccleston and Tennant are very open about their love for the Earth. And they're just like, oh, you're such an amazing people. You're so great.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you go out there and you do it anyway. And I love that about you.
Which is a solid turn away from where the previous couple Doctors were going. I felt like where they were getting darker and darker.
They were certainly Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker were definitely the darkest of the Doctors.
But we're still in the introduction phase, so let's get a question from Stephanie Lisai. I kind of like that. I don't know what it means, but I like it. Lisai. Who says, individually, what is it that you think attracts you to the show and its story? The main reason I'm asking this is because if someone pitched the idea of the show to you, wouldn't you find it slightly daft believing the idea couldn't work? I'm like, really? Have you never watched a science fiction television show before?
Wouldn't you think this is insane? Hells no!
It's pretty straightforward.
I think it's the best premise ever.
It's a pretty straightforward idea.
You
very
can
simple
do
idea,
stories about anything set anytime, anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With no big strict adherence to like, well, we can't do that because in time physics.
Yeah.
And it's even broader than Star Trek, because Star Trek had this amazingly broad scope because you could go to any planet in the galaxy at least. It's like you can go anywhere in the universe and any time in the universe, so you can your scope is trifled almost.
And I think that's one of the great things is every time a new story starts is you've got no idea what universe even it's going to take place in, other than the Council Estate in London.
And in that way, I think the viewer kind of becomes a companion.
Yeah.
Because the companion is just along for the ride. The companion has no idea what's gonna. It's this whole adventure. There is that. You can put yourself in her shoes.
When those TARDIS doors open, you don't know what's on the other side, and that's what makes it interesting.
We should probably define it. What a companion.
I was just gonna say. Well, the Doctor.
Well, that's actually what I was going to get into with, because it's individually, and I was going to say it's not to me the TARDIS, and it's not the science radar. To me, when I started with Eccleston, it was Rose, who is the companion, and the Doctor's relationship. And that's what drew me in, because I couldn't remember last time I was so emotionally attached to characters. And the companion is Rose for the first season, and the companion is just exactly what it sounds like, a companion, a traveling companion who the Doctor shares adventures with, but also keeps him from doing anything too batshit crazy. It's kind of his grounding point. And that's what drew me into that show. Like, by the end of season 2, I was just so in love with Rose and so in love with the way they interacted. That's why I loved the show. All the rest was just cool, glitter on the cake.
And they're at this point now there are 11 doctors, but there have been countless companions at this point. There's so many of them, and they're like Chris and such. Their entanglements with the Doctor are one of the crucial aspects of the show, as far as reflecting what humanity is onto what the Doctor likes about humanity, and their interactions are what makes the stories very attractive. Because a lot of them do have the some of the, at least the naivete or the audacity to say, like, hey, here's Pompeii. Why don't we warn everybody and get everybody the fuck out of here?
And the Doctor will just, if somebody is all the worst things about humanity, when they present those elements to them, their personalities, he will call them on it with a look of disgust and just disappointment that echoes the way we really feel. We just can't say because we see too much of that in ourselves. The Doctor doesn't have that in himself. He can do that. But when someone's just being awesomely human, when they're just being all the greatest things about, being a person, about caring about other people, about empathy, about invention and coming up with new ideas, then he's just stunned and
he's our biggest cheerleader
like
and our sternest judge.
And that's why he has companions, because have there been any non-humanoid companions?
Yeah, so there have been many.
Well, non-humanoid.
Do you count K9?
Not counting K9.
Non-humanoid.
Not on the TV, but there has in the comic books.
It's dicey, yeah.
Okay.
In the comics
and in the novels and the audios.
Well, as far as canon goes, though, probably not.
I thought we established there was
I've always heard there is, but there isn't. So what? It's not a big deal. But I think people say if it didn't happen on screen, it didn't happen.
No, actually,
they cross things over.
Do they?
The Who fans are not as tight about that stuff as
the Trek
Trek fans or
Star
Wars fans.
Well, they're always changing timelines, so anything is.
But you're dealing with a time traveler.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. He goes back in time and fixes some problem that happened. Well, that might have made it so this other thing never happened at all.
Paul McGann only appeared on screen once, but he's appeared in a lot more novels than some.
He's actually the longest continuous Doctor. He's done 10 years as the Doctor because he did one TV special, but he's done audio adventures for 9 years.
Kat, what attracts you to the Doctor?
It was the kind of thing when I was kind of first forming myself into a geek. I came across the Doctor. I grew up in a household with no VCR and no cable.
Cat Pangea.
Cat Gia. It was the kind of thing that there was something, I don't know, there's something about this fantastical element. I've always been attracted to that sort of a thing. And it was shown on Saturday nights on my local PBS station, WCFE, for any of you who are up there. And I was always falling asleep during it. It always frustrated me that I would always catch the first 15, 20 minutes and then fall asleep. And I would catch full episodes every now and then when they would kind of need some filler, on a Sunday afternoon or something. And so for me, it was like this little precious commodity that I only got to see bits and pieces of. And I remember seeing, Pyramids of Mars for some reason I saw over and over again. That was always the one I managed to catch.
Space mummies.
and also I had this fascination with Egypt at the time. So that was oh my goodness, it's some of my favorite things all smushed together. And then, seeing the Daleks. I'm looking at the model Dalek here on the table right now.
Daleks.
The Daleks. Exterminate. And that they were terrifying. I mean, when you look at it sitting here, it's really not that scary of a thing. But if that thing were to come to life and turn into Dalek-sized, God, those things are terrifying.
You can't get that by just watching, looking at a clip and going that thing looks and sounds dumb.
It's got a plunger and an egg beater for a hand.
You can't get why they're scary unless you watch a whole episode.
Deeply psychologically terrifying.
And and all of Doctor Who is like that. I mean, all of the terrifying things in Doctor Who are the kind of terrifying things that I still am able to process deal with and enjoy. You know, I don't like slasher films because
What's
you know,
the
that
British
sort of
term?
thing,
Hiding behind the sofa.
Hiding behind the sofa. Yeah.
Hiding behind the sofa because the Daleks are.
Yeah, you know, and
Or
the
just Doctor Who in
Cybermen.
general. Yeah.
You know, the idea of the Cybermen, that they're going to take human beings and turn them into robots, you know.
The Cybermen was the
it's-
thing that freaked my wife out more than
Oh
anything.
my goodness, yeah, they are really terrifying. You know, it's for me, it was one of those formative moments. And like I said, a precious commodity. And when it started back up with the Christopher Eccleston series, I was just like, oh, thank God! And what the hell are you doing in a leather jacket?
Well,
You're not my doctor.
It was the Dalek episode of that one that really was like, okay, I really love the show. Because then I was like, all right, we're seeing where it's going. And the Dalek, which is like the sixth episode in.
That was an awesome episode.
Once
yeah.
they
Yeah,
really
that was, like,
started
done.
paying reverence to the classic show,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, I'm really glad that you, Kristen, are saying that that's where it gelled for you, because I know why it gelled for me. It was just like when they showed the Cybermen head in the museum, I was like, oh, Cybermen. And yeah, and then when it was the Dalek, it was like, oh God,
We're
oh
screwed!
God. Yeah, and it's just like, you know, I looked upon those villains, you know, those old Doctor Who villains with the same reverence that I look upon, like, you know, Darth Vader.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
or you know,
The Daleks would kick his ass.
Klingon battle cruiser or what have you. I mean, it's just like, oh, now things are getting interesting. Crap.
How about you, Al?
What was the question?
What is it that you think attracted you to the show and its story
I
originally?
think I sort of mentioned it earlier. For me, it was always the plots, the story, and the fact it was very narrative driven. Maybe that's because I'm a writer, I don't know, but that's what always attracted me, even from early days.
Yeah, but you weren't a writer when you were like 6 and watching.
I
it.
started writing at 7.
Did you? Okay, well,
Writers
fair
are
enough.
always writers.
Writers
Yeah.
are always writers.
Oh, fair enough.
So for me, yeah, it was always the stories and the character of the Doctor. I mean, giving my age away here, I was around for the William Hartnell years. I don't really remember them that
Good
much.
lord. Let's get Leon in here and
Yeah,
do a
I know.
measuring test.
Yeah. I got memories of some of the Patrick Troughton ones, particularly the Yetis in the Underground. I remember that. I remember ending up behind the sofa for that one.
I hope they bring the Yetis back. I'm sorry.
But I suppose John Pertwee was when I really started to watch the show, when he was like, you know,
When it turned really dark.
yeah, and he was on, you know, and like you said, he was on Earth, and he had the cool gadgets. I'm a gadget freak, so you know, he had the cool
Yeah, you
car.
like James Bond too.
Yeah,
so.
and it was a
James
James Bond
Bond,
type
Batman.
vibe to the show, so that's when it really hooked me. But yeah, it was
And
always
he had those awesome threads too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, cool clothes.
And the one that really got me, I suppose, that really hooked me into the whole history of the show was that the Three Doctors was the first time they actually pulled them together, and they actually brought William Hartnell back for a cameo, and they had John
When he was
Pertwee.
dying.
You can
When he was
actually
dying.
you can watch this on demand on Netflix.
Yeah.
Can
The-
you?
The,
I
the
didn't
Three
know that.
Doctors.
The Three
yeah.
Doctors,
So
yeah.
if you're curious about
I
it.
saw it on a bootleg tape
Yeah.
so long ago, but I remember even before I saw it, someone was like, "This was William Hartnell's last appearance
Yeah,
on camera."
Yeah, he was dying.
He was
That
really
was
sick, and
yeah.
that's just so. It's just I couldn't get that out of my head when I was watching it. I thought that was so
But,
sad.
yeah, so I suppose that's the episode. That was the equivalent of the Dalek episode for me. That's the one that was like, no, I got to watch this, and I've watched it ever since. So.
I gotta say, you know, the thing that really gets me about Doctor Who, it is the like, I think it is the essence of the fairy tale of, I want to be in this book. I want to go to this amazing place. And the Doctor is this guy who literally reaches out of the book and says, awesome! There are adventures to be had. Fucking jump in this box with me and we'll go. We'll go fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that's why the companions are so great. And you're just like, oh, yeah, fucking awesome. How cool would it to be to have, you know, this police box, like, park itself in your backyard, and this guy, like, hey, I need some help, could you hold this? And it's like, you know, thanks for all the help, do you want to go see the universe while you're at it? And, yeah, I mean, how can you beat that? It's completely fucking.
Which
awesome.
brings me to what attracted me to it. I mean, the first episode I saw was State of Decay, which was a Tom Baker episode, and I watched it because someone said there's a sci-fi show called Doctor Who. You already like The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Right.
And it's got vampires, which I was also a big fan of. And I was like, shit, yeah, let's see a sci-fi show with vampires. It's like, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was even taping it at the set time. It was like on a Betamax. I watched that. It was the first Betamax tape I ever wore out, where it just was like unwatchable because I watched it so many damn times. And what attracted me to it was Tom Baker, the Doctor himself, because he was the most awesome guy ever. He was the coolest person you could ever even imagine hang out with. I mean, of any character through the history of science fiction and fantasy, the guy you would most want to show up at your doorstep and go, let's go, for me is unquestionably the Doctor. I mean, he's fun to be around. He completely has your back no matter what. And he can do pretty much anything.
And no matter how bad it gets, he's always like, this is rocking! Oh my god, things are falling apart! This is great!
One of my favorite qualities about him is when he sees a monster, his reaction isn't, that he's never seen before, his reaction isn't to like run in fear, his reaction is to go, oh my god, that's so cool! Yeah, I just watched one tonight again from the first Tenet season 2, where he sees a werewolf and he's like, look, it's a werewolf. Yes, let's go. But it's a werewolf. It's so awesome. Okay, Scott, this is a good point to go into the more specific questions. So we're coming to the spoilers, people here. Not quite there, but Scott PJ says, is there any specific jumping off point to get into the series? And, really, why not just start with Eccleston? If you like that stuff, if you really start enjoying
Start with
that
that first episode, Rose.
Yeah, exactly. If you like that and you end up enjoying it, then go back. You can find
But
some
if
of
you
that
only
earlier
want to watch
stuff.
one Doctor Who episode, it's got to be Blink.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
what I've been
Yeah.
telling people lately, because Blink is completely self-contained. So I'm like,
And the Doctor's almost an ancillary character.
Yeah, it's hardly in it at all.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say.
I'm like, if you want to dip your toes in, see if you like it, do Blink. If you like Blink, go back,
then
get Eccleston,
go.
start, and do it the whole way. And if you're not in love by Dalek, then there's something wrong with you.
And how
And-
you could technically start right now, because they've just
Yes,
wrapped up the
clean slate.
entire storyline run.
Yeah,
There's
you
a
can
new
start on
Doctor.
April
There's
17th.
There's a
Yeah.
new showrunner, Stephen Moffat, who wrote that episode, Blink, which is why I'm really excited about him taking over the
But if
show.
you're really, really ambitious, you could actually go all the way
Start from
back
number
and
one.
start with number 1 and An Earthly Child.
Although it's almost impossible to do that because there are almost no existing DVDs or videotapes of those.
Well, there's
There
no.
isn't that one, though.
Yeah,
there is
a
an
that
Unearthly
one.
Child. There is the Aztecs.
But most of the
Most of the Hartnell stuff's
most of the
Most of the
Hartnell
Hartnell
stuff is
stuff,
done.
and
And
a good deal of the Patrick Troughton stuff is gone because, like we said, Socialist Nightmare, BBC of the 60s and 70s, they recycled a lot of their stuff.
I
and
don't
they're
understand
just like,
though. Why doesn't the Doctor just go back and get them before they destroy them?
That'd be an awesome episode of Doctor versus the BBC.
You can pretty much do Pertwee on DVD. Almost all of them are
But
available.
you can do all the Doctors
on Netflix.
You can do all the Doctors on Netflix on demand, because
Yeah.
I'm actually going through and redoing those as well. So.
There's some there's a good deal that you can get on demand. There's some that you actually have to get the physical DVD for, unfortunately. The sad thing is, like, there's no like definitive cool box set for the Doctor or like each separate Doctor. There is, they do it by storyline. And that you'll get like 10 episodes in a 2 DVD package, but it's like piling it all up is a bit of a chore.
And be aware, you will never forget your first Doctor.
No,
Whoever you start off with is going to be your definitive Doctor, and when he regenerates for the first, it depends, maybe the first episode, maybe the first 5 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to kind of acclimate, you're going to be like, this isn't my Doctor.
It's just like screwing people. Once you do it a number of times, you get over it a little bit easier. But yeah, you never forget your first.
Yeah, other Doctors may do it better later. Yeah. You may get better at watching those Doctor Who episodes. You might figure out how to put your thumb in its ass as you're watching it and find out how good that is.
Don't.
Well,
Lines?
Am I crossing this over the metaphor too
Yes.
much? Okay, well that brings us not that
Yes,
specifically, but
There
before
are girls in the
You,
room now.
another question.
Driving the TARDIS across the space-time continuum.
brings us to another question. Composite Who Horrible says, who is each league's favorite Doctor and why? And this is something we haven't even discussed yet in the aspect of, the fact there are multiple Doctors. In the storyline of the show, the Doctor can regenerate if he gets really ill, if he essentially, or anyone else would die, he can regenerate in an entirely different body.
As long
And
as
this
he's within the TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's not like
Well,
if he's out in the middle of
it's
nowhere.
not
I
that.
thought
Do it
I thought there were
the
rules.
basic
No.
rule of thumb they're kind of going with
4th
now
to 5th
is
was outside the time.
the,
Yeah.
the Doctor has two hearts. If anything manages to stop both hearts simultaneously, then they can't regenerate. But otherwise,
And
you're
also,
good to go.
if he dies before he can regenerate, they touched on that recently.
Yeah.
If he gets killed, and he can't
Yeah, he
start
can
the regeneration
die.
process, he
like
can
if he was
actually be
blown
killed.
up to like
Smithereens.
nothing,
Smithereens,
Yes.
that would be it. Presumably that's not going to happen.
Because we've seen Echoes of the Future in which
Yeah, well, we've seen that goes into the
Yeah.
whole we'll get there.
Possible
Yeah.
futures.
But
yes, possibles.
the original thing was just because they were like, this show's a big hit. How are we going to keep it going? Because this guy wants to retire like completely, not just
Yeah,
from
he was
Doctor
sick.
Who.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like, well, we'll just make up the storyline, and it turned into such a beloved part of it. And every single time, if you're watching the show, you get so sad and upset when a Doctor ends, and you resent the new Doctor, and then like a couple episodes into it, you're like, I don't know, this
Aw.
might be the best Doctor ever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My favorite Doctor, I started with Tom Baker, and I'll never forget him. I always have love for him, but he's always going to be my second favorite because I think David Tennant has completely captured everything I love the most about all the years of Doctor Who. Everything that's been best about that character, I feel like he nailed it. My only regret for him at all as a character is just that Russell T Davies was writing him a lot of the time, and I thought he made him do stuff that I don't feel like that character would do. Especially towards the last several episodes. But anyway, that's mine.
Like you said, like the first Doctor, when I imagine Doctor Who, I still think of that crazy scarf and that hat because that was what was running when I was in high school. So when I think Doctor Who, I still think, yeah, I have Tom Baker, but just like me, Tennant, I absolutely love him. He's freaking adorable. He's got freckles on his face. I love it. But apart from that, I love his personality. I love he just, I think, really brought so much enthusiasm to the role because it was a childhood dream of his to play Doctor Who. And
Yeah, he's like the first fanboy to play the role, isn't
Yes,
he?
which
he
was
is, yeah.
great. And one of my favorite lines, and I'm not going to be spoiling because, as I said, we all know he's going to leave the series. Someone who's going to
Rose
take his place.
Tyler.
But my favorite line of his was, "I don't want to go," and I felt like he meant that. He did not want to leave this role, but he stepped down. We're gonna get Matt Smith now. But yeah, I loved Tennant. Just loved him. And I loved his style. It's like his every Doctor has their own dress kind of code. I loved his trainers and his suit. Looked good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of along those same lines. Tom Baker was my first Doctor. That iconic scarf will never be forgotten. David Tennant is my favorite Doctor. But I have to say that Christopher Eccleston, like I said, first he shows up and he's like, you're wearing a leather jacket and your hair is like, super short to the point of almost not being there. Who the hell do you think
And you've
you
got
are?
a northern accent?
Yeah,
Try to have a northern accent.
it would have been less weird
Hey,
if he had
shut-
shown up wearing a clown suit for
Right.
Doctor Who.
Like he
Right.
said, every planet has a north.
But every planet has a north. But so quickly, Eccleston won me over. And I really fell in love with him to the point that when David Tennant showed up, when he regenerated, I was crying when Eccleston left. And David Tennant showed up, and I'm like, who the hell do you think you are replacing my Doctor? But seriously, I agree with Kristen completely. Like, he has embodied everything that this character should be. And I think part of it is because he's a fanboy. Because he knows this character, because he grew up with this character, because he loves this character, and he finally got that chance, to be the character. And I think he was the character so thoroughly. When I was watching his exit, I was on the verge of tears. It takes a lot to make me cry at a television show. And I was on the verge of tears when he was making his exit. Not to spoil things. We know he makes an exit.
Yeah, we know it's been announced there's a new Doctor, which means
we know
his
it's coming.
character left the show by sheer logic. So,
yeah.
Bo?
There's this great line in the Three Doctors where William Hartnell's looking at Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee, where he's like, "Great, this is what I've got to work with. A fop and a clown." Because Troughton was the clown and Pertwee was the fop, the dandy. And William Hartnell was basically an old fart. And then you got Tom Baker, who was basically a loon.
Yeah.
And that's why I adore Peter Davison. He's the middle-aged Doctor, even though he was at that point the youngest Doctor. And man, he was so classy. I loved his threads. He wore a cricketer's uniform. Had the celery in the lapel. It's very suave, very cool, and I just thought his way of looking at things and approaching problems was just so fresh. Once more, the first Doctor that I really got into, the one that I grew up on, and so yeah, I mean, to an extent, he's always going to be the yardstick that I measure up any of the other Doctors to. Loved Eccleston and Tennant. Probably Eccleston a little bit more, but I think that's more from wanting more from him. Because, man, there was just
one season.
It would have been sweet if he had a second season.
It would have been sweet. And it's like, hey, BBC, you do specials all the time. There's no reason why you can't do an Eccleston special every now and then. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
So-
they could totally do that. And you know what? You'll be interested to know this as far as David Tennant goes. He's actually seriously involved with Peter Davison's daughter, who played the Doctor's daughter.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
later on.
His favorite Doctor is Davison as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, which, hi, possible future dad. Oh, my favorite Doctor? Totally you, dude. When he gets home,
weird.
He gets home, he's slipping into his John Pertwee episodes, feeling all dirty. How about you, Alan?
Wait, is John Barrowman's Peter Davison's daughter?
What?
Oh,
No,
never mind.
He's not gay. There was a lot of rumors he was gay for a while.
I know,
Because Rusty Davies is very gay.
I was, as they say across the pond, taking the piss. So.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, I actually was curious because I was like, I wonder if he is gay. I've never actually looked it up because I just didn't give a shit. And I looked it up today. I was like, no. In fact, they have still. It's like, no. If I wanted to be, I would be though.
I heard Captain Jack.
Awesome. That's an awesome statement. Yeah.
Alan?
Favorite Doctor. It's difficult for me. The Doctor's just a character that every single one of the actors has brought something to the to the mix. Actually, my least favorite Doctor is actually Tom Baker.
Wow.
Really?
I've heard people say that.
Because I think he played the role way too long, and he actually became a parody. I like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Tom Baker, but after that, I think he became a parody of the character.
It's funny. In retrospect, my favorite thing about Baker is just one of his companions, which was the second girl to play Romana.
Right. Yeah. Arla Ward.
Sometimes Baker
Who was
could
actually
be
his wife.
a little
Yeah, who
cool,
ended up
too.
being his
His
actual
wife's
wife,
wife,
which is
yeah.
why there was such great chemistry.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, I really like Eccleston. I really like David Tennant. They were really good. I'm going to give 2 answers here. My favorite Doctor of all time never actually was on screen. It was Richard E. Grant who played the 8th and a half Doctor.
Right.
Basically, there was a animated special written by Paul Cornell called Scream of the Shackler.
Never actually got made, though, right?
Yeah, it did get made.
It did get made.
It was on the web. It was just an animated thing.
Okay.
And Richard E. Grant played the Doctor between Doctors 8 and 9 on TV.
He
And when they said they were coming back, he was the guy I wanted. Every time they say they're going to recast the Doctor, that's the guy I
he
want
would
to
be
play
a
the Doctor.
great choice anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the ones that people always talk about every time they're.
Yeah.
Is it too late to change my answer to Adrian Edmondson?
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing was good, yeah.
Even though he wasn't.
In terms of TV Doctors,
the same
actually
guy.
the 6th Doctor. I'm a big Colin Baker fan. I
Really?
like, yeah.
You're the guy.
I'm the guy.
No,
I think he had undertones to that.
From him.
He had undertones to the character that he was starting to build up when the show got canned underneath him, and I met him last year. Really great guy, and really got into real deep conversations with him about where the show was going with the cancelled episodes.
He had
and I think he was going
ideas.
in such a great direction when they pulled the plug on it that when you go back and watch it, I can see more of those undertones of what he was trying to do with the show.
You know, he actually had another show after Doctor Who that was pretty much the exact same character.
The Stranger.
The Stranger, except they had to come out because the BBC was going, "What? You can't do that."
Yeah, they were
and
basically
say,
fan-made. There was the guys who actually went on to form Big Finish, the audio company.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Who, and apparently it's great. I just found out about this today, so I'm gonna have to track it down because people were saying at the time this is actually better than Doctor Who has been in years.
In the Doctor Who novel that I wrote and pitched was actually a Sixth Doctor episode, and I actually had the Stranger walking through a few of the scenes in that too. So.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, because I know they actually had to make a point of saying on the show after BBC pressure, this is not the Doctor.
Yeah, but
if only they had gone with the blue outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been
And
nice.
he's the only one who had a penguin for a companion, which was in the...
C.H. Garag says, do you think there will ever be or should be an American remake of Doctor Who?
No.
Or do you think the show is
No.
too ingrained in British culture to be taken out of it?
No.
Well, what's
No.
happening
Why?
right now
Why do
is that there's going to be an American Torchwood, which I have absolutely no problem with at
Yeah.
all.
No, but that
and in
works.
fact, I think is very sensible because
Yeah.
a lot of Americans are really into the British Doctor Who. The main character of Torchwood is American anyway.
Well, on top of that, Torchwood has a bunch of different
And it fits within the premise of the show because there
works.
can be Torchwood bases all over the world.
Yeah, that works.
Well, even the British one has gotten blown up. So I think the idea is that like they're going to start
the
a
Welsh
new
one, please.
Oh yeah, the
Cardiff.
Welsh one. I'm sorry, the Cardiff one. Sorry, British, whatever. It's all the same. Ireland, Scotland, Wales. It's all British.
Actually, the English
to me.
one got blown up in Doctor Who too. So, yeah.
So
that's
you know
true.
what?
Well,
I think the best thing about that is that they're going to be able to cross over with the British Doctor
Yeah.
Who, which is going to do nothing but create new fans. And I think it's a great idea to do it that way. But should there ever be just a American Doctor Who? No, that's a terrible idea.
I am terribly skeptical of the American Torchwood. I will give it a shot. I have a rule. I give 6 episodes for something to get good, which I think is pretty darn generous.
It's not a reboot though, right? It takes place right after the last Torchwood episode.
I'm fine with all of these ideas as long as we don't have an Irish Torchwood. That just spells whiskey-laden disaster.
That's Leog.
Yes, it is.
Hi, and welcome to Torchwood.
Run by Leprechaun.
So instead of the pterodactyl hanging up there, they'll have a leprechaun
flying
with a banshee flying.
Did somebody fire the giant space cannon again? Oh, God. Well, cess to you. Let's get past.
Let's just say that the Americans do not have a good track record. I mean, kind of going back to the Doctor Who question, barring Torchwood right now, because that's in the works. We'll see how it happens. Yeah. The Americans do not have a good track record with taking British programming and translating it into a quote-unquote American version. I mean, Faulty Towers.
They did actually do an American version of Doctor Who in the 80s.
The Office is pretty much the only thing that's really, I think, taken
Sanford
off,
and
isn't it?
Son.
Sanford and Son, All in the Family, Three's Company.
I was horribly burned.
I could go on for hours.
Yeah, the thing is that,
let's take it to the sci-fi end of things. I was horribly burned when I saw the American pilot for Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Which was it is still one of my Red Dwarf. The real Red Dwarf is one of my favorite shows ever.
We've actually got a worse track record with stuff from Europe because the French gave us a really great actor who had done incredible films, and we turned him into Gerard Depardieu and gave them back.
Okay, I'm going to move to another question here. A Daedalus Ciaran, I don't know how to pronounce your name, and I apologize for that. Accepting that Russell T. Davies deserves all the praise he gets for resurrecting the series, and he most certainly does, because it was in limbo for a while, and he was fanatical about getting it done. So, more power to him. Do you think he was actually a good scripter? I think I've already answered this kind of, but personally I've often found his episodes to be among the weakest of the new series, being the most plot hole ridden and often overly sentimental. In other words, the last episode where the Doctor jumps out of a spaceship, falls through a glass roof, smashes onto a marble floor, doesn't die, and then dies very slowly from radiation, which has previously been written off as a way of killing him. And I completely agree. Here's where I'm going to say it. I don't like the last 2 episodes. I didn't like them at all.
Oh, you didn't like it at the time?
I did not like it at all.
I think an awful lot more
weak.
could have happened in those episodes. They were, especially the first half, was very slow.
And I thought the Doctor's death specifically was bad. I thought it felt like Russell T. Davies going at the last minute. I changed my mind. I don't want to quit. And it was too late at that point.
And this is the only time, every time, at least that I can remember, and I have not seen every one, but whenever the Doctor regenerates, it's been like, don't worry, things are going to be okay. I'm going to be back. I'll look different, but I'll be back. Don't worry. And this time he's been clinging to, and spoilers, people, it's I don't want to go. It's I don't want to die. This is not going to be me anymore.
Well, he's also the, 10th regeneration.
So he's getting up there in years.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't feel like something David Tennant's character Doctor would do. What I love, my favorite regeneration ever is Eccleston into Tennant, because Eccleston is smiling when he changes.
Exactly.
He is happy because he knows what's going to happen.
Exactly.
He's like, you know what, this is just, it happens. We did a good thing here, and, it's what happens.
Yes.
The entire last 20 minutes of the Tennant ending is so fucking angst. And, we've already covered all this ground. We covered this at the end of the 4th season. Why are we going through this again?
I thought there was some cute moments in the last 20 minutes, though. From a full fanboy point of view.
Indeed.
His goodbyes I loved.
It was basically like his love letter to Tennant. I love Tennant so much. We loved working with him. I'm going to give him 20 minutes to say goodbye and wrap everything up. And I liked End of Time, but listening to Bo talk about it and Nate talk about it, I thought it was going to melt my brains. And yeah, it did have some holes in it that I was like, well, why, if he's dying from radiation, why is it taking so long? Because last time it was like, bam! I didn't hate it for that, because I felt like, well, this is the goodbye that Russell T Davies and Tennant are like, goodbye forever.
And also, it's just like, okay, you're dying. You got, 12 hours and a time machine. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Pretty much what he did.
Yeah.
So I had no problem.
Yeah, I had no problem with the last 20 minutes. It was
the
hour and a half before that.
It wasn't the fact
was
that
it a little sentimental? Was it very sentimental?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It went on for too long with the sentimental. Was
But
my problem.
you've also got to put that in the basis of what that show has become in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, it was filmed and made primarily for the UK audience, and that show basically has gone back to being a national institution. I mean, it's become the show that everybody in the country watches.
I watched
particularly the Tennant years.
Music of the Spheres, I think, is the thing where they had the live concert with all the music, which is it sounds lame. It's on the newest set with the one with all the things. It sounds lame. Oh, we're gonna watch the full hour and some minutes of the orchestra playing all the music, but it's amazing. And they send out all the I gave them a copy to keep. So they bring out the Cybermen, walk out, and all the monsters in the series, and people are crying. They're ecstatic. It's this sold out show, and you're like, it sounded to me like, I'm going, I wouldn't show up to see the Lost music get played live as much as I like on the show. I'm like, I don't want to sit and watch an orchestra play for a while. But after watching this, I was like, okay, I totally get this. This was moment.
The announcement of Matt Smith's casting was a national event.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, they literally...
I was waiting by my computer.
Literally stopped everything else on TV for that 5-minute announcement about Matt Smith's casting.
I think that's why they did have that extensive lead out for Tennant, so they could wrap shit up so that when the new Doctor came in, he did not have a lot of baggage going.
Well, that's why.
And it's a new it's a completely new showrunner. It's not just a new cast. It's new writers,
Well, that's why actually Tennant left when he did, because he knew Russell T Davies was leaving the show. He's like, well, I want to give you guys a completely clean slate.
Yeah.
So that's why they wrapped it all up to be like, this is where everything ends here. So when we see the new Doctor, completely reset button.
But I actually want to go back to the question about Russell T Davies. I actually think Russell T Davies generally is a great writer. I mean, some of the other shows he's done, like the Casanova show that he did with Tennant.
I've heard that's fantastic.
It's
I've never
amazing.
seen that.
He's written some really good stuff. I think with Doctor Who, he had some really great overarching ideas. Yes, some of the details were missing. Some of the things that he tended to pick up on and then overemphasize, like the Doctor as the Messiah thing, went too far.
Man, some of that stuff towards the end with the Waters of Mars when they start.
Yeah.
I was like, what in the hell is going on here? This is the Doctor's getting obsessed with his own godhood? What?
Yeah, well, I actually sort of like that when...
see, I hated that.
Because that was the whole thing of him not having companions to balance and pull him back.
I got that's what they were doing, but even so, it was
I got that, though, but I like that he had... Because, we've been watching him just be so sure of himself and so happy, and I like that he had this moment of doubt to be like, what have I become? And it's because he has chosen not to have a companion because he's lost them all. Yeah. So I like the fact that
Russell T Davies brought in a lot of the really good Doctor Who writers from fandom.
Oh, yeah.
People like Stephen Moffat, Paul Cornell, Gary Russell, who wrote some particularly Moffat and Cornell wrote some outstanding episodes.
Yeah, well, the best ones of the series, probably.
Yeah.
And, you know, as much as I can talk shit about Russell Davies, which I'm doing here, look, you know, once again, he brought the Doctor back. He did write a lot of really phenomenal episodes.
Now, did he do Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, which are the Rose's final episodes?
Oh, I don't remember.
I
off the
think
top of
so,
my head.
yeah.
Because those were two of my absolute
He definitely wrote some really great stuff. It's just that he also wrote some stuff that was incredibly bad. But to be fair, he wrote the
wrote
grand
most of it.
majority of the
He wrote
episodes.
most of it, so yeah, you know.
I just honestly, my biggest problem with what he did was how he chose to wrap up the last
And didn't he write
several
Children
episodes.
of Earth as well? I mean, he wrote
Yes, he did. And Children of Earth is
He's-
arguably the single best thing from the new Who universe period, which
Yeah.
is the wrap up to Torchwood, the 6 hours, right?
6 hour miniseries.
Yeah, 6 hour miniseries, which is just absolutely
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I'm not there
But
yet, so don't.
But
spoil
you
it.
have
Once
to
you
watch
subtract
it.
commercials, because I think it ran 8 here.
Yeah.
Once you put the commercials in, it was a.
Maybe.
So the answer is Russell gets a pass.
Russell gets a
Russell
gets a pass. He gets a
check plus.
He gets a check plus. He gets a salute. Thank you,
Yes.
sir. It was lovely having you here. Thank you for everything you've done. And it really, but I'm still really glad to see Stephen Moffat take over, who is not only for his work on Doctor Who, but I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, Jekyll, Coupling.
yeah.
He's one of my favorite television writers.
And he
hardly
managed to
wait.
persuade Neil Gaiman to write an episode.
Oh, I know. Which
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
come on, man. He's
Episode 3 of the
he's my guy.
second season of the New Doctor.
We're going to go to another question. Spider John says, many of the Doctor's enemies are groups where individualism is frowned upon, like the Daleks, Cybermen, etc. And even his own people, the Time Lords, have a tendency to look down upon the Doctor until they need him, of course. What do you guys think about the role of individualism playing with the character of the Doctor and the show as a whole? And I just thinking about this, I was like, you know, it's interesting because British specifically are much more class conscious, and they've got this character who is just, you know, I mean, totally anarchistic, totally no structure at all to him, is totally like, yeah, all that shit is bullshit. And then Americans come up with Star Trek, which is the exact opposite.
Right.
We're supposed to be
we're
the
about
individualistic,
coming together
free-thinking
as-
ones.
as a- Yeah, and I think that I think that's a brilliant observation, and it's paramount. I mean, you know, and there's no coincidence that Doctor Who started in 1963. What else was going on in 1963?
I think
I think there was a little band that was going on in Liverpool.
No idea who you're talking about.
Well, didn't you play drums for a while?
Alan Parker was actually named Stu Sutcliffe.
Alan Porter.
Before he changed his name. Alan Parker.
Yeah, I wrote Fame as well.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you want to think about individualism, the Doctor himself is kind of the consummate individual.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
But he actually does
is
fit within that class
solitary.
structure, because if you think about it, he's a lord.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. The Time Lord, not Time
Time Lord,
Commons.
and he's meant to be the quintessential Time Lord. He's been president several
Yes.
times.
Most of the
But
time,
he-
he doesn't act like a
But
lord.
he doesn't.
though.
But he acts in. There's a lot of precedent for that in British adventure literature and British genre. If you think about somebody like Raffles, the gentleman thief, who's a noble who basically goes in and is a cat burglar. The Scarlet Pimpernel, who again is a aristocrat who goes in and saves other nobles from the guillotine in France. And so, there's a whole precedent for the noble acting as an anarchist on the part of good while hiding behind.
Would you
the
argue
veneer
then that
of,
it's his very nobility that allows him to
Yeah.
do that? He
Yeah.
has the freedom because he is
because he
beholden.
because he doesn't
you know,
actually have to answer to
yeah.
anybody because he's already at the top of society.
That and the
Well,
whole
to
living
be
forever,
fair,
having a time machine
the
thing.
Time Proles did try to start something, but it just never got off the ground.
Well, it could also be,
California unions are.
it also be that you're pointing out there's differences between the culture, but it could be kind of like longing for what we don't have, like America, kind of chaotic. Well, if we had Star Trek, it was much more structured, whereas British opposite.
I think you've just actually nailed it. It
Yeah,
really is.
it's
It's just that
longer.
wish fulfillment for the grass is always green, and we always wish for what you.
I can't remember
don't
what
have
the
it.
famous
we're
psychologist.
getting race wars,
What-
and the British are getting class wars.
I can't remember what famous psychologist said it. I want to say Jung, but I don't know who was saying that we tend to dream about the things that aren't in our life.
Yes.
Whether or not we actually want them, we dream about those things.
Yeah.
Cosmic
It's
impact.
funny though, because when the Daleks first started, they were totally punk rock, but then they had a kid, and they were like, oh, we
Let's
gotta
settle
down, and they got they were just totally intolerant after that. So, anyway, Nate, our man Nate,
Hey,
yeah,
Nate.
who is the one Spill member who I invited to come use our guest room here at the League Lounge during the spill party, said, as we all know, the Doctor's TARDIS has a broken chameleon circuit. This is the device when functioning camouflages the TARDIS into any object to blend into its surroundings. It can run on autopilot or can be set to a specific shape by the person operating the TARDIS. Okay, a question to you. You have a TARDIS. You've been able to fix the chameleon circuit just enough to change the shape once. You can change it to any shape you want, which is presumably permanently after that. What shape do you pick for your TARDIS?
A 1963 police box.
Isn't that the right answer?
I mean, it's so iconic. It's
It's hard to imagine it being anything else.
Yeah. Even in the episodes where they have fixed it and it works for a little while, it's like, no, switch it back.
I would almost like to see like a run again where they get it working for a couple episodes.
For the Matt Smith one, they've actually done a slight change to it and actually taken it back closer to the original 1963 design.
In the inside? Or
No,
the
on the
outside?
outside.
On the outside? The
Yeah.
Mark II design?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I would like a telephone pole covered with punk rock flyers from the like late 80s and early 90s, just because I miss those. You don't see them anymore.
Thinking practically, I would probably have it be some kind of a car. You know, something that you can. I mean, it's still stuck in that.
It still dates. Yeah.
You know, it still dates it. You know, and it's still, you know, if you take it to another planet or whatever, it's going to stick out like a sore police box.
Cat would like it to
But-
look like Thunderbird 1.
But it's just a DeLorean, a 1985 and a half
Yes.
DeLorean.
DeLorean. I bought an awesome shirt the other day off the internet. I'm sure you can find it. It is the TARDIS getting into a little fender bender with a DeLorean.
I saw that.
Mailed to me the other day, and I can't wait to wear it.
It came out of
That's awesome.
nowhere.
I saw a great one at the convention on Saturday, which was basically a Venn diagram of all the time travel TV shows, and right in the middle was just the TARDIS. In the one intersection of all the time travel TV shows was just the TARDIS in the middle of the Venn
Take
diagram.
that, Scott Bakula.
Which probably on some level, somewhere we haven't even thought of, connects to was the name of the show where it turned out it was all the dream in the mind of the coma patient.
St. Elmo.
St. Elsewhere, because like if you look
Well,
at
and
the arc,
Newhart.
it, like everything, like there's like 40 shows that you can prove didn't happen because they crossed over to St. Elsewhere on some line. So you know, there you
I think
go.
Lost is one of those shows.
It might be, I don't know.
But the great thing
You know,
about
they should unite all of those shows under one banner and make it one big show called
Abracadabra!
Catchphrase.
the other great thing about the TARDIS is nobody notices it anyway.
Yeah.
That's something they've really started to build on in the new series. Is
Have they actually said
Oh,
that
yeah,
they-
and nobody.
you can park it in the middle of the street and people will walk by it and not even notice
If
it.
you look at the whole thing, like nobody really ever like goes to the doctor and says, "Who the fuck are you? No, you can't do this." They're always like, "Yeah, all right."
just
no one
accept
ever-
him.
Yeah.
But no, every now and then somebody kind of starts, well, who are you? I'm the doctor.
Yeah,
and
Queen-
then
And
he's
that shuts
like,
it
then-
down.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Queen Victoria totally called Tennant on that.
Oh yeah.
Queen Victoria
She's
called
Queen
him to the
Victoria.
table. Said, "No, this is bullshit.
And-
Get out."
And then she created Torchwood.
Then she created Torchwood.
But no one
She
even
did.
notices like his clothes. Like he can wear out-of-date clothes. No, like I'm wearing a three-piece suit
Well,
in
just
Pompeii.
people see him as what they want to see.
Well, he
Yeah.
shows up in the middle of crisis situations, generally speaking, and people are like, "What the
Nobody
fuck is up with
cares.
you?" He's like, "What do you care? I'm about to help you."
Yeah.
Well, the chameleon circuit has this little thing that kind of whispers in the bone behind your ear. He's just a hipster.
Let's just make fun of him secretly when he's out of the room. Okay, one last question, then we got to wrap up the Doctor Who, Leon. Sad as I am. Well, we had to waste time with comic books for the first hour, so I know.
Oh, we haven't even started.
What
Eki,
if I do this?
and hey, it looks like we got a whole other 40 minutes to talk about Doctor Who.
I don't see.
Eki, the storyteller Eki, which, by the way, under the reflexive principle, it says, "See the reflexive principle."
Well,
What do you think about the new Doctor Who actor that is coming this Easter Saturday?
that would be Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
I don't know how I feel about him yet because I haven't seen him. But the early reviews of the first episode are saying it's really good. It's, once again, Stephen Moffat, who I trust enormously. His new companion is a hot redhead, which, hey,
Oh,
you're
this
not gonna-
companion's what I'm excited about.
well,
She's a
well.
hottie.
You're not going to hear any complaints from me about a hot redhead on Doctor Who. Although, even though she has a boyfriend on there for at least the first couple episodes.
Oh,
Well, so
they
did
get rid of
Rose.
Yeah,
those.
so did Rose.
quickly.
Yeah, that won't last. But they're not going to do another romance between the Doctor
they're
and a
not.
companion anytime
They're not,
soon.
yeah.
So, You
Yeah,
know,
but-
I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see a whole new storyline run. I mean, what we hadn't said before about the previous Doctor, last two Doctors, was there really was a running storyline that went all through it. The whole Bad Wolf storyline was a big part of the whole thing, and. You know, I assume they're going to do something like that again. I'm really excited to see what Moffat's grand master plan starts to play out into.
That's what I liked about it, that there was one thing that would repeat in all the episodes. Like, you'd start off Bad Wolf is in every single episode up till they get there. So
even if they barely talk about it, like you just see it in the background.
It's something subliminal that you don't know until the final episode where you're like, oh, that's what that was. So I agree with you. I want to see what he does with that.
And I assume that he probably won't do something just like that. You know, like, oh, here's that thing. You got to keep an eye out for the thing. It's going to be something else going on. But I don't know. I mean, it's when I first saw Matt Smith, I went, he is a goofy looking dude.
That was
and I just didn't like the kind of goofy.
As opposed to all the stand-up, heroically pretty guys.
Well, they did have two
Doctor
traditionally handsome doctors in a row there, who were like, you know, Tennant and Eccleston were both more traditionally
I'm
handsome.
sorry, Cyrus, but there is no way you're going to sell me on the fact that David Tennant is heroically pretty.
Tennant is the only doctor that I would stick a bumper sticker on the TARDIS that says, if this TARDIS is rocking, don't come a knocking.
Yeah, no, I am not saying that he is sexy, but he is certainly not traditional George Clooney, Brad Pitt.
Britain's number one gay and lesbian publication voted him the sexiest man in the world.
Well, yeah, but those guys are gay.
Universe.
Yeah. Just saying. What, so gay guys have worse taste? They're pickier than anyone is. Come on.
If you do not know where to look for the humor in that statement that I made, then I don't know how to help you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just usually just tune you out.
Yes.
Just kidding. Dude, you better turn the sonic screwdriver on.
No, I totally see the appeal of Tennant, but certainly don't. You know, Matt Smith, it certainly seems more, you know, sexually appealing. I'm looking forward to him. Everything that I've seen.
You're weird.
You are weird.
I know, but that's because you two are alike on.
He's pointing to myself and Kristen, by the way.
Maybe your third Doctor, Kat. Definitely your third Doctor.
But I'm not on my
Kristen.
third hot guy. I mean,
it doesn't matter. Doctors are not like that. You know,
right?
And
I think
it takes a while to get over.
Yes.
As you get through, like,
it's part
6
of
or
being
7
a Doctor
of them,
Who fan.
it's like, okay, I understand, I really loved you, but, the time has come for a change.
You're missing my point. My point wasn't that I'm not going to like Matt Smith. My point is he's so freaking goofy looking, I'm not going to be like, that Doctor is hot. I'm going to be like, okay, he's cool, dude.
You know what?
The new Doctor. You have to accept him as the new Doctor. If you're a Doctor Who fan, that's
I
part
have
of it.
documented, audible evidence in my brain of you saying, well, David Tennant's cute.
I remember.
But
God, I love that brain-based evidence.
I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't think he's going to be that good.
No,
And then
I
you
was
watched him.
wanting to get to Tennant quickly because I'm like, Tennant's so hot. I want to get to Tennant. Now I fell in love with Eccleston. But I was never like, Eccleston's a hottie. That's all I'm saying here.
Okay.
Well,
Tennant's a hottie, and so Matt Smith's so fucking weird looking that just visually it's gonna take.
Yeah, I agree with the girls totally.
There's
He's
something wrong with
really
his head,
There's
dude.
something weird looking about him in a very atypical sort of weird way.
He's weird.
But you fall in love with every.
Weird looking has been working out for whether that is the truth or not. It's been working out pretty well for the Doctors thus far.
That's true.
I like what I have seen. I'm very interested to see more.
And you always,
I will say the trailers got me really excited.
the trailer got me pumped.
Yeah. The two trailers that are out so far look really good. And I'm really excited. And I'm hearing good feedback from people who work on the show that I know.
Yeah.
That they're really happy with what Matt Smith's doing.
Because I've been following that stuff pretty closely with the stories, and the staff is coming out saying this is going to be like the best Doctor ever. It's like, okay, well, you know what? You always fall in love with every new Doctor anyway, all over again. And they've shown unquestionably we're going to see the Blank Aliens, the Weeping Angels come back, which is enough for me to sign on right now. How much do I need to pay a month?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'll sign it.
Now, that's my question too. Well, when does America get to see the new Doctor?
April 17th if you have BBC. BBC America.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be any number of places to get it on.
Yes, and of course you shouldn't do that because it wouldn't be illegal.
Yes, Leog would not ever support anything illegal except for the use of recreational drugs. Yes. So, anyway, We're gonna wrap this one up unless anybody has anything. Kat
Well,
wants to say
I
something.
had one other just kind of point to make. I think a change in Doctor also brings usually a change in companion, although that didn't happen, with Rose. But I think accepting a new companion can be almost as difficult as accepting a new Doctor.
I never got over Rose, and I
never did
now that I
either.
have a brand new Doctor, I'm okay with that. But I never got over Rose.
As much as I like.
Normally, the
sorry, go ahead.
companion actually links over the regeneration.
Yeah,
Yes.
generally speaking.
This is one of the first. I think this is the first time they've actually
Yeah.
done
It might be the first one.
that we've had this switch to the
This is the
companion.
first kind of naked regeneration. So.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I was really sad when he chose not to go with Michelle Ryan at the beginning of the new
Me
ones. I was like, she's
fucking
awesome.
too.
Best companion since
Yeah.
Rose.
I know.
She's so great. Grab her and go with
I
her.
did not
and I'm
like her all that much.
screeching at the
I did
end
not
of
like
the
her all that
episode.
much, Bionic Woman, but goddamn, she's so good in that.
Yeah.
Like,
I
come
have to-
on.
I
There's
have
been
to
a lot
say,
of episodes over the full series though where they've done these one-off things where somebody's been in the TARDIS for one episode and you think, I hope
that'd be
they're
a
going
great
to stay as a
companion.
companion, and they
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Like when they did H.G. Wells, I thought that would have been awesome. when
Oh,
they
how
did,
cool would that
the
have been?
Sixth Doctor and H.G. Wells, and they did it for one episode.
Yeah, they
one
could
story
still
was
do it.
gone. and
They
it's
could
like,
still do it.
I have to say,
that would have been awesome.
I think one of my favorite companions, Rose. It's hard to hold a candle to Rose.
I cried my eyes out when she left, and I watched it like 3 times back to back.
But when she gets her when one version of Rose gets her happy ending, it's kind of satisfying.
She
but
went to a Asian
I-
massage parlor?
I hated Donna at first.
I did too.
absolutely hated her.
Donna was great.
But by the end,
Yeah, but you already
by
liked
like
Catherine
3
Tate.
episodes
No, I
in-
hated Catherine.
Oh,
Tate.
did you? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, fair
By
enough.
3 episodes in, I really loved her as a character. By the end, I think she was one of the most tragic
Yeah.
characters
Well, she's
ever.
definitely totally tragic.
I mean,
oh my
just
God.
Affirmative.
The character change that she experiences, she totally redeems herself, and then it's so sad.
I could not
It's so
stand her, couldn't stand her at all, hated the way she talked, hated her expressions. By the end, I was like, I still don't like you, but I feel
But I
really
respect
bad
you.
for you. I
Yeah.
feel bad for you, but I still don't like you.
Just one more thing before we wrap it up, and that is, thank you so much, Alan, for being on here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely,
thank you.
thank
So
you.
wonderful.
And
Blast
bringing
this
your
place
awesome,
up.
So
your
much
awesome
And the
Dalek.
Dalek. Do you have Kenny?
And I am going to kill you and steal your toys.
That really is awesome. And one of the most iconic villains ever in science fiction, and you won't understand unless you
You have to watch it.
sit
You have
down
to.
and
No,
watch
it's
Doctor
not-
Please
Who.
watch
It's not
Doctor
a
Who.
Dalek. It's a
Dalek.
Dalek.
Yeah, well, I'm going to exterminate that thought. Anyway, I'll end by saying Steven Spielberg said the world would be a poorer place without Doctor Who. And he's absolutely right. Who knows more about fantasy than that guy, and is one of the greatest fantasies of all time. And with that, I guess all there's left to say is long
live the League!